Neither of those two people are here today. Don't worry. Mike Lefko here with you. Maura's here. Lyle's here. Brady Henderson will join me at 7, and we're going to have some fun today. Guys, I didn't realize we were going to have so much fun until last night, until Thursday Night Football happened, and I was prepared to come in here and talk about how at this time next week, your show and all of us are going to be reacting to a Seahawks game against the Rams, maybe the game of the year, which in itself, we can talk about the merits of Thursday Night Football and why you probably shouldn't have the biggest game of the year on Thursday Night Football, but we can complain about that later. I don't want to get pre-annoyed yet. We can do that next week. But Maura and Lyle, I don't know if you heard this. I don't know if our listeners heard this. I want to get right into this. The hilarity. I'm not even sure how you sum up Bucs coach Todd Bowles in his post-game press conference after Tampa Bay lost to Atlanta 29-28, dropping them out of first place. And, hey, by the way, the Carolina Panthers are in first place in the NFC South. That looks like kind of a bigger game for the Seahawks now when they go there in a couple of weeks. But please enjoy. Everyone, take a listen right now, just past 6 a.m. on a Friday, to Todd Bowles in 30 seconds.
After
now
the
count
Bucs,
with me.
If you didn't see it last night, after the Bucs lost by 1 point on a field goal,
They blow the game.
a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter.
I get it. You're fighting for your playoff life. You lose to the Falcons, divisional opponent. You lose at home. Todd Bowles was asked after the game, hey, what do you say to your team after a game like this? Now, please listen closely and count along.
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where it hurts. You got to care enough where it hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
Is that 10? 10 or 11? Maybe I counted too quickly.
The language tells me that he's mad, but his demeanor, it does not say that at all.
Yeah, isn't that the funniest dichotomy of words that you say when you're angry? But the same monotone.
Is he so flatline?
He is so monotonous. And he's yet poor FCC censors and stations airing that live. Imagine if you're airing that post-game presser live. You're a local Tampa TV station. And you're like, oh, no, dump button. Wait, no, we're in trouble. Okay. So I edited this morning, and I listened about 7 times to make sure I had gotten all of those properly bleeped. And I think I caught, we can play it again, I think I caught 7 of the F variety and then 3 S expletives. All right, count with me again. I counted too quickly. So here, one more time.
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where it hurts. You got to care enough where it hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job.
5,
it's your livelihood. 6. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
10.
I'm more focused on the fact that I don't know if that's what he's doing in the locker room. I don't understand how his team. That's not motivating anyone. Like, Mike Evans was losing his mind on the sidelines. He was so mad, and it seems like Todd Bowles is gonna go home and have a cup of tea.
And I think that's why. I mean, he's on the hot seat. But you're right, Maura. And of course, we were mentioning that the thing that comes to mind is this most iconic clip of Cardinals coach Dennis Green.
They are who we thought they were.
Now, I like that in your show folder.
That's what you sound like when you're angry after a game.
In the Brock and Salk show folder, a little behind the scenes here for all the listeners, there are 3 versions of this clip. So certainly at some point this show has referenced this clip in many forms or ways. But yeah, here's the slightly longer version.
If you want to crown them, then crown their. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
There. Yeah, that's how you get when you're angry. Now, he ultimately got fired, so it didn't really matter. But Todd Bowles is just sitting there, kind of milquetoast, like, yeah, I'm going to throw that word out there, throw another expletive out there, not really convey my anger or anything to that extent, but just go to town on those poor FCC censors and the people in charge. Like, poor Lyle over there. Imagine, Lyle, you're working that, and you're dump. Nope, okay, you've run out, and you have to quit because you probably are going to get fired.
The dump button only has so much time ahead.
They couldn't keep up. You don't have enough dumps to dump what Todd Bowles was saying.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Lyle's like, yeah, I'm stunned. I got nothing to say after that. So that certainly caught me. And we're talking about Thursday Night Football because there are some bad reasons to have a Thursday. There's some difficult ways to have Thursday Night Football in a division game, especially one that means so much next week. So I'm already looking ahead. That's kind of the issue. We'll talk certainly about the Colts because we'll have Stephen Holder joining us at 7:30, ESPN Colts reporter, and Brady's in here, so we'll weigh in on it. But I find myself already looking ahead to 6 days from now. And the problem is there's a game 2 days from now. Well, it's highly unfortunate that this game for both the Seahawks and the Rams, one that will determine, in all likelihood, the 1 seed, assuming you don't slip up the rest of the way. But with so much on the line, the fact that you have that on such short rest, I don't like it. I know it's great for the national stage. You can't control when the schedule comes out that this game's going to mean something. But you think back to some of these key games, just think back to 2019, the Seahawks and Niners. At the end of the season, that was the difference between the 1 seed and the 5 seed. And who knows? If the Seahawks end up winning that game, which was so agonizingly close, do they go on a Super Bowl run like the Niners did? I mean, the Seahawks had to go on the road. They had to play the Eagles. They had to play the Packers. They lost to the Packers. The Niners got to rest. They got to host the Vikings. They got to host the 6-seeded Vikings. They won, and then they got to play the Packers on their home field. So if the Seahawks do that, is this an alternate universe and they're in the Super Bowl instead of the Niners? We'll never know. There are so many what-ifs you can play. But that game lived up to the hype because it was not on a short 4-day turnaround. 3 days rest is just insane to put the best game of the year right there. So I don't know how getting angry at that led me to Todd Bowles, but I thought that's the version we should take because beyond just the hilarity of that presser, it was a really sloppy game. I mean, I would be furious,
19 penalties.
Yeah, 19 penalties. So you're the losing coach. And
125 yards worth of penalties.
You gave up. You saw the other team commit 19 penalties and still win.
They completed a 3rd and 28 and a 4th and 14, I think, on the final drive.
And it's Kirk Cousins, who's a good NFL quarterback. He's been in the league for a long time. But that's a backup quarterback. We saw what the Seahawks did. And the Bucs defense is just... they're atrocious. So, yeah, I get it. Todd Bowles, in word form,
it's kind of like, why couldn't the
angry.
Seahawks have played that version of the Bucs earlier? They were looking good earlier this year.
Yeah, they played the somewhat offensive version of the Bucs. But again, I think that's the difference between 4 days rest, 4 days between games, like 3 days rest. You don't even have a pitcher go on 3 days rest. You're gonna have a football game on 3 days rest. So a Bucs team on 3 days, very sloppy. Poor Kyle Pitts opponents. If you're going against him in fantasy, my sad team is. Now this is the saddest thing you're going to hear this morning. In the consolation playoffs, my 11th place team is going up against the 12th place team, and they have Kyle Pitts. And they're the 12th place team because Kyle Pitts has been terrible, except for the game of his life. So I had to deal with that. So to cap off the whole insanity of Thursday Night Football. Oh, by the way, that's not even the worst thing that Todd Bowles said. It's incredible to think that in a press conference where he drops 10 expletives in 30 seconds, he went on to say something more offensive. But we'll hear that coming up in a few minutes. So, yeah, going to be a good show. Maura, you have planned a lot of good things as usual. What do we have? 9:45. Oh, answer the question, jerk, right? At 9:45? Yes. Yeah.
We haven't done that yet this week, so we're going to do a little Friday edition instead of phone calls today because we have Brady Henderson joining you later. No Brock and Salk today. And, we're going to do a little buy or sell around the NFL. And then, of course, talk about this facing Phillip Rivers, apparently.
Yeah, we'll try not to laugh. I mean, seriously, we'll try not to laugh. There will be some laughs. There'll be some chuckles. But we'll dive into what the Seahawks might actually expect against Phillip Rivers. So, yes, answer the question, jerk. Get those questions in. 866-979-3776. But when we come back, there's a lot to know about this Seahawks team. They're getting healthy. There is one new injury, though, we have to catch you up on. It's a Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob.
Devin Witherspoon has been fantastic this year.
Every afternoon at 2.
He interviews like he plays.
Energy.
Yeah.
We just need a blade of grass. Give us a blade of grass, bro. That's all we need.
Like when people try to block him, it's like trying to block water.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is all over the place. His feet are phenomenal, and then you hear the energy there. So just the tempo of his voice and the way he talks, like, can you imagine you got a guy like that on the field?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continued education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
More fiber and laxatives, eh? Who are you? I'm future you. Future me? Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Robert was in big trouble with the IRS.
Yes, I owed them a lot of money, over $52,000.
Then he heard about civic tax relief.
They took great care of me. It went really quick. $52,000 that I owed, and they had a payoff for $100, and the IRS accepted it. Man.
Off the hook for just $100?
Civic tax relief will take care of you. Give them a call.
Call Civic Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation. 800-881-4555. 800-881-4555. Individual results may vary. Visit civictaxrelief.com for more information.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Ooh, that face. Quantum Fiber Internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Hey, Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum Fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of her video calls. Back to back to back video calls.
Quantum Fiber Internet blowing the soxies up all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
The majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shape.
Todd and Brett, they made it really easy. You either take care of the customer or I will. So that empowered you, so if something does come up, to do the right thing.
It wasn't just working for a store, right? I was working for a legacy. I can't tell you how many people have come in and said, I've bought 3 cars here. My family has bought 7 cars here. My father or my mother have bought cars here. That's kind of rare nowadays, to get that type of longevity. You have to be doing something right.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Holiday shopping got you stressed? The Mariners have you covered. Grab a season ticket membership for the super fan in your life, and they can lock in the best seats and benefits like guaranteed postseason access. Or mix and match with single game tickets for everyone on your list, from opening day on March 26th to must-see matchups against the Yankees, Phillies, and more. This holiday season, make Mariners.com your one-stop shopping destination.
Oh, he makes the catch! What a snag by Julio Rodriguez!
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Good news on the injury front for the Seahawks. Jalen Sundell was a full participant in practice, trying to make his way back from a knee injury that landed him on IR. Now, where to put him, that becomes the question. Now, Mike McDonald was asked about this on Monday, didn't give any indication. Sorry, why not do that thing where if you were a kid and you did this, you went to your parent, didn't get the answer you wanted from one parent, go ask the other. That's what they tried to do. The Seahawks media members, Brady Henderson, will ask him about this too when he comes in here. They went and asked Clint Kubiak yesterday, hey, where does Jalen Sundell play when he comes back?
We're getting him back into the groove of practice this week. We have two starting centers, in my opinion. We have two starting players that have led our group in an excellent way. So it's a discussion we have to have as coaches.
Okay. Clint gave more of an answer than Mike McDonald did, because McDonald didn't clarify whether he'd put Jalen Sundell at center or guard. Sounds like they are planning on putting Jalen Sundell back at center. Now, when is the actual question? We will see. Final injury report comes out later this afternoon for the Seahawks. Good news all around, except for tight end Elijah Arroyo. He hasn't practiced this week due to a knee injury that he suffered against the Falcons. Now, on the other side, the Colts will likely be without cornerback Sauce Gardner. He missed their game last week with a calf injury, has not practiced this week, but they are expected to get back defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. He had been on IR, has started to practice this week, and could be activated before Sunday's game against the Seahawks.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
That was quite a shakeup in the NFC playoff picture last night. Falcons committed 19 penalties, yet rallied from a 14-point fourth-quarter deficit to knock off the Bucs. A game-winning field goal as time expired. So now, the new leader atop the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers. Now, if you heard us earlier to start this show, we mentioned that Todd Bowles dropped an expletive-filled quote in his post-game press conference, but I said that wasn't even the worst thing he said. No, it was probably this, where Bowles blamed the players, not the coaches, for the Bucs finding themselves where they are right now.
At this point, you've seen everything in the season. The coaches have done everything they can do. This is a player-driven team in the last 4 or 5 weeks. You got to execute, and they got to hold each other accountable. As a coach, you can sit there till you blue in the face until they start holding each other accountable and doing the little things right. And that's not everybody. Now, we're talking about a small select few, but the small select few is what's getting us beat. And until that happens, it's not going to get right. So we got to get up and go to work tomorrow. No matter how bad today looks, you got to put it behind you, and we got to win the last 3 games. We know that.
Yeah, that always goes over well. Coaches blaming the players. Now, it sounds like, again, this morning, Todd Bowles did have a press conference and clarified that it was just a select few players in certain situations. But a coach putting the blame on the players and not the onus on the coaching staff never seems to go well. So we'll see what happens with the Bucs, who, yes, have fallen out of the lead in the NFC South. The Panthers would currently be the 4 seed. The whole if the season ended now, which it never does, so you don't have to worry about it. But as the current seeds stand, the Seahawks are the 5th seed. The Panthers, as the NFC South division winner, would be the 4 seed. The Seahawks would go there in the first round of the playoffs. They also go there on December 28th. Now, hopefully it does not matter that the Seahawks would have to go to Charlotte, because you beat the Rams, take care of business. You would not have to worry about a return trip to Charlotte. But right now, that game on December 28th holds a little more meaning than originally thought a couple of weeks ago.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
UW football is in the LA Bowl tomorrow against Boise State. I think the most noteworthy thing about this is that the LA Bowl, long live the illustrious history of the LA Bowl, it was announced last night that it's shutting down after tomorrow's game. So Washington is playing in the final edition of the LA Bowl, which is also hosted by Rob Gronkowski. And in a media call with Gronk, he said, you know what? One of those coaches coming in, old Jed Fish of the Huskies, he's still a little annoyed that he left his alma mater, Arizona.
Jedd Fisch is the head coach of the Washington Huskies, and I'm going to have a word with him because he was the head coach for the University of Arizona, my alumni, for 2 years and turned 3 years and turned the program around. And then he took the job over with the Washington Huskies. So, I got to have a word with him that he should have stayed as the head coach of the University of Arizona. But that's okay because the University of Arizona 9-3 this year.
Okay, question for you, Maura and Lyle, and for our listeners.
Reading a children's book or something.
It's Gronk.
But that's okay.
Come on, that's your guy. Gronk don't know big word. He is the host of this. So, question for you two, and listeners, feel free to chime in. I'm not going to give you enough time to chime in, though, but if you do want to know one of these names, chime in. 866-979-3776. In the 5 years of the LA Bowl, can you name any of the 4 different sponsors that this bowl has had? The official bowl name of the LA Bowl. They are quite something. No one's going to know. I don't want dead air here. So, listeners, you have about 10 seconds, but listen to this illustrious history of the sponsorships of the LA Bowl. Now, for the first 2 years, it was just the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. There you go. Not the strangest brand sponsorship name. I mean, we've had the Bad Boy Gasparilla Mowers Bowl. So you have some stranger ones, but it has undergone a new sponsorship name in every year since 2022. Maura, you wondered why Gronk was there. Well, since 2022, starting in 2023, Gronk has been the sponsor of the LA Bowl. First, it was the Starco Brands LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. Then the Art of Sport LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. And finally, this year, it is the Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. Now, I did not know what Bucked Up was. I had to look up. It's an energy drink. So good for you if you did know. We're getting some good recommendations for bowl names from our texters. Actually, yeah, text that in. What do you have a better recommendation for an LA bowl name? 866-979-3776. But all of this to talk about the fact that, yes, the Washington Huskies are playing in the Bucked Up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk tomorrow against Boise State. And it's the final edition of that bowl game as well. So tune in. You don't want to miss history. That is everything you need to know. Also, the Kraken, they're one of only 2 games on the NHL schedule tonight in Utah for just 1 before they come back home starting for 2 on Sunday. And they have dropped to 6th in the division after that recent losing streak. I know they did get they got a win, in overtime a couple nights ago, but the Kraken have slipped a little bit since that strong start to the season. And one other intriguing note for the college football fans out there, the SEC released their 2026 football schedules yesterday. Lane Kiffin's much-awaited return to Ole Miss comes on September 19th. Now, that's not the only fan base he has scorned in the SEC. He's also going back to Knoxville, where he left Tennessee after just 1 season. So it'll be the Lane Kiffin hate tour next season with the SEC football schedule out. And I can't keep up with all this wild college football experience news and things like that. The Bucked Up LA Bowl has just thrown me for a loop right now. I don't know how to live my life without the LA Bowl.
Is there like a party that Gronk doesn't sponsor?
That's a good question. Huh. We should have been in on that conference call.
Stuff going on at the Super Bowl with him.
Yeah. Well, he's so Yo Soy
Fiesta.
Fiesta.
There was a cruise thing for a while there where you could party with Gronk.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I think he had a party bus situation at some point.
Good for him. Good for Gronk. I mean, hey, if you can live that life, live it for as long as you can. We'll see what happens when he inevitably doesn't have some party to throw. But yeah, that's the joy and the history of the LA Bowl. We're going to get away from that for a little bit. Back to Seahawks Colts. A lot to break down, including the new dynamic, that wrinkle that Phillip Rivers adds to this Colts team, whether he plays or not. Salk and Brock caught up with Daniel Jeremiah. He will weigh in on that, break down everything else you need to know about this matchup. What's beyond Phillip Rivers? I mean, the Colts, they have some good pieces. What else does the Seahawks have to watch out for? That's all coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
How will the offense get even better?
Once Torrey Horton gets back, this offense can be even better. Imagine him in this offense. That third receiver has kind of been missing. Granted, there's a lot of 2 receiver combinations out there that do play with a couple tight ends at times. And that's what's exciting about this team on both sides of the football is that offense is great, defense is great, and you still haven't had these big performances from guys who are more than capable of doing it.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Look, it's never too early to plan for retirement, right? Whether it's decades away or maybe just around the corner, Trajan Wealth's fiduciary advisors can ensure you feel prepared for this financial shift. It's Mike Salk here, and my friends at Trajan Wealth offer tailored insights and strategies designed specifically for investors with $500,000 or more in savings looking for ways to optimize those funds. Start with an introductory meeting. That's what I did. They'll explain their strategy, which is tailor-made to your specific needs and goals. They'll help you with the accumulation phase of life, which most of us are in now, but then also with the plans for using that money in retirement and beyond. All without paying more than your fair share in taxes, right? Super helpful for someone like me who doesn't exactly spend every day staring at stock quotes. Call the fiduciary advisors at Trajan Wealth today to schedule your free consultation at 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300 or TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Too much on your list this season? Get 50% off your first 6 months of payroll at gusto.com/radio. Gusto saves you 2 days every month on payroll, taxes, and compliance. So you can go from making payroll to making gingerbread houses, checking your books to decking the halls, spreadsheets to snow angels. Switch before the end of the year and there's no need to transfer payroll history. Now that's a reason to be merry. Choose a future with Gusto and get more time for what matters. For a limited time, get 50% off your first 6 months at gusto.com/radio.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
It's here, the Light the World giving machines at the Alderwood and South Hill malls. With a swipe of your credit card, donate a chicken, school supplies, meals, and more. Go to givingmachinewa.org.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The dining district at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, wait in just a moment here as Daniel Jeremiah is set to join us. A little late this week as he had the game on Monday Night Football for the Chargers. So we have DJ on Thursday today, Brock. Just a little bit of a change, and then we're gonna do Here's the Thing at 9 because we moved that around. But the fantasy forecast will still be at 9:45. So if you have fantasy questions for Maura, please text them into 866-979-3776. All right, we're having computer issues, so no DJ on video, but we do have. Oh, he's on his phone, but on video. Ah, I get it. DJ, you look fine on your phone. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, that's not great. It's not great.
No?
What happens, you guys, I have a MacBook.
That looks
Try
good.
and move this around.
Yeah.
But it won't charge. My computer now will not. It's just stuck on like a battery icon, and I charge it all night long. It doesn't work.
Have you thought about complaining loudly on the
To the goons at
to the goon, I was
att.net.
going to say, to the goons at att.net, using your social media platform and hope that, like John Clayton, people from those companies will come help you?
No, has that been tried before?
Well, one of the beauties of John, we chatted with John
Fairly successfully.
every single day, DJ, and one of the cool little just attributes of John is you'd ask him, like you typically do, hey, how's your day? And most people are like, yeah, it's okay. Oh, he would tell you.
Fine.
Oh, it's terrible.
Terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
That's terrible. The goons at att.net haven't fixed my computer yet, so nothing's working. Of course, it's raining outside. It's an allegedly rainy day, and I'm not allowed to go outside because I have to work every day. So, you never knew what you might get. It was a wild ride. But we're glad to have you. We missed you on Tuesday. I mean, I was here working and was kind of expecting you.
I'll raise the hand on that one. So I got home like 1 o'clock after the Charger game. And it was one of those days where we had to record like 3 different podcasts for NFL Network, including one that we do quarterly with Rosenthal. Then the last minute I get a text, we're going to have Mendoza on, and we've got Brian Hartline coming on. So I've got all this stuff swimming, and then I get up, I realize my phone's dead, so I just charged it in the kitchen, and then I'm just sitting there prepping these, and I go and look at my phone, and it's like 9 text messages from everybody involved with the show, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to hear the end of this from Salk. I already know how this is going to go.
Nah, I got more vacation coming up, so I'm just going to let you go in exchange for time served or something like that. And I got so many questions for you. Honestly, I don't even want to waste time making fun because I got a ton I want to get to. We got to start with Phillip Rivers. I wasn't expecting, if we had talked on Tuesday, we wouldn't have had any opportunity to talk about Phillip Rivers because nobody knew it would be happening then. He's probably going to start on Sunday, right? Brock said it. I kind of probably agree with him. What does a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers have to offer, especially just looking at him yesterday? I thought I saw a little extra weight on the bones there. And, what does Phillip Rivers have at this stage?
Well, it's going to be must-see TV. I mean, if there was going to be the worst-case scenario of who I'd want to play against, where I'd want to play, and weather and all those things, I would probably be what he's getting ready to walk into. But I was around Phillip for a long time, and he's one of those guys. I think he'll be able to throw a ball into his 80s. Like he got his different way of doing it, but I think he'll be able to throw the ball okay. to me, it's just going to be a matter of, how does he deal with the punishment that he's going to inevitably get in this game? He's going to get hit. And, when I was playing a bazillion years ago, Brock, you remember we used to have like the screen period, which was maybe once a week would be like a 10-minute period in practice. I think to me, if I were the Colts, it'd be like the screen period would be the practice. And then I would sprinkle in a couple other things for a 10-minute period.
Yeah, get the ball out, right? Get the ball out.
100%.
Now, he can't be worse than Max Brosmer, right? I mean, he's competent.
He's going to be better than him.
The system. Yeah.
And you watch, like, even as great as the Seattle front is, they'll pop a run because he'll see something early, which he's really, really good at. He'll get him in the right check, the right call, and they'll probably catch a run here or there because of his brain. So that'll be kind of an underrated aspect of having him in there. But I did hear yesterday they practiced really well, threw the ball well. So it's going to be awesome. Like, I was talking to somebody and they said this is going to be like it's going to be a Disney movie or it's going to be like a horror flick. Like, there's no in between, but it's going to be must-see TV. I can't wait for it.
3 weeks ago, DJ, the Colts were 8-2. They were 7-1. They had a better scoring differential than the Seahawks and Rams. What has happened?
Well, I mean, not being healthy at the quarterback position. Daniel Jones playing with a broken leg before he had the unfortunate Achilles injury. But I saw him, when they played the Chargers, and I was like, oh my gosh, this offense was a machine the way they were operating, and that efficiency took a little bit of a turn there with his health. So I think that was a pretty simple explanation.
Is their O-line pretty healthy, though? Is their O-line still capable of doing what they've done for Jonathan Taylor? I know he slowed down with some of those other challenges, but will this be one of the better O-lines that the Seahawks group's got to face?
Yeah, I'd have to look and see where their injury situation is at right now. I haven't looked at that, but when they're healthy and got their guys out there, they can move people. They can move people, especially with their interior. So it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's not. I know the line I think is 14 points on this game, and I know everybody's just said this is there's no chance. 5 years he hasn't played football, and I'm like, I saw this team. They have a lot of good players on that football team. So I think it'll be closer than that is what I'm getting at.
We've been talking a lot this week, DJ, about the defenses, Houston, Denver, Seattle, and the Rams. I mean, these four defenses seem to have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. And I know there's a few other good ones. Patriots are pretty good. There's a couple other good defenses. But these four, I think, are like the four elite defenses. I kind of could go two ways with this. One is, when's the last time there were four elite defenses in one season of this caliber? I can't remember. I'm sure if you go back to the 80s and 90s, there were plenty, but it sure seems to be unique over the last 10 or 20 years. And then secondly, like, what separates them? What is the difference? How do you rank these four defenses?
Well, I would disagree from the standpoint. I feel like every 4 or 5 years we have a collection of defenses like that. And a lot of my examples on that are going back. Now it's been a while since I was working, for a team, but I just remember the years in the early 2000s off the top of my head where I know Baltimore and Pittsburgh just in our division were elite defenses. The Chargers, when they had all those guys, were an elite defense. And then you had New England with what they were doing with Belichick during those groups was an elite defense. So I think this is not abnormal. I think we've seen offenses take a little bit of a step back this year as part of that. But these four in particular, when you go through them side by side, to me, if I was going to use like kind of the words to describe them, Houston is the most violent of these four defenses. Like, and I've seen them up close, saw them in the playoffs last year. It is just, there's a physicality and a ferociousness that starts with the two edge rushers where it's just a real violent physical defense with a really good secondary. If I was going to rank all four of them, I would probably put them at number one, just because I think you feel them when you play them. It's just a little different with how fast and violent they play. To me, Seattle's got the most depth of everybody. When you look at all the different things they can do up front, it's just waves and waves of guys. And going back to the tape this last week, to me, Witherspoon is such an X factor, man. Like, he's just watching him blitz, watching him, get his hands on the ball just as a playmaker to complement what they're doing up front. They've got guys at all levels of their defense. I just think they would be, to me, the depth team in this bunch with the waves of guys they can throw at you.
Would they be
I would put
behind?
them. I would put them at number 2. I would put them at number 2. I'd have Houston at 1. I'd have Seattle at number 2. I'd have Denver at 3. And Denver is, to me, is speed. There's speed, and then there's just the aggressiveness with the way Vance Joseph calls it, where they're going to give you a lot coming at you, and they can do that because, again, they've got a really good secondary as well. But I just feel like when you play them and you see them in person, to me, it was the speed. It's the get off of Benito and Cooper coming off the edge. Like, there's just speed. So then that they would be 3 for me. Then the Rams, I just think the Rams, of all those 4, I would say the Rams secondary would be kind of the weakest of the 3 levels of a defense in that collection of 4 guys. And I love their defensive front. And again, they can come at you with waves like Seattle can, but I think I would take Seattle's secondary over the Rams.
So to rewind it back to that Sunday game, 6-6 at half, a play here, a play there, especially in the first half, Atlanta could have had the lead, and then Seattle just steps on the gas from Shaheed's opening kickoff to the defense to Sam was electric and JSN. So just the overall tape, the eye in the sky, what did it show you?
I thought Sam was awesome in this game. Like, to me, and I wrote down escape, like all caps. He had some incredible escapes where they've got free runners on him, and he was able to not only get away from him, but then maintain his poise and deliver the ball down the field. I thought the ball was jumping out of his hand. Has that tipped interception early. There's a little adversity there, but I thought he was nails after that with some wow throws, big time throws. I thought that pass rush is good. Atlanta for years had been anemic with their pass rush, but Pierce, he gave Cross some issues and some trouble off the edge a little bit there. I was talking on the phone with the GM this morning. I was finishing up. I had done the defense, and I was finishing up the offensive tape in this game. And I told him, I said, dude, Gray Zabel, just watching him in this game and the torque and the power that he can play with, he is an elite guard now. Like, this is not, he's going to end up being one of the better guards in the league. He is one of the better guards in the league right now with what he did. I thought that the other guard played better in this game, which was encouraging to see. That was great. Shaheed figuring out ways to get him involved, I think, is a nice weapon to have in this offense. And JSN does this thing like he always does, and get down in the red zone. You get play action. I thought it was good to see Cooper get involved. I thought it was a really, really good offensive performance. And then flip it over to the defensive side. I mean, there's a million stars. 13 was great. 21 was awesome. I thought you saw Eamon Wari when he gets down in the box. See, I'm using some names as well as numbers now, guys. I'm trying to evolve. I'm trying to evolve. Pitts got him on one. But he was electric when he was near the line of scrimmage. Job got beat for a touchdown, but I thought overall he was okay. And then when I looked at Leonard Williams, I'm looking at it, and there's only so many times you can reset the line of scrimmage. Like, it's every play. The play, I almost wonder, like, if you should just start with whoever is blocking him 3 yards backwards, because you're going to be there very shortly. So you might as well just cut it out and just start right there at that point in time. And then Byron Murphy's as good at throwing a hip and anchoring down versus double teams as any defensive tackle in the league. You couldn't move him in there. They were trying to double him and duo him and get him out of there, and they couldn't move him. So I thought it was a very impressive tape on both sides of the ball. And then obviously you have the kick return.
That's a pretty good day. Yeah, I mean, you keep doing that, and they may very well win out and go through this Final Four gauntlet.
That looked like a Super Bowl team. I know Atlanta is Atlanta, but if you watch that game, that's a complete team, and that looked like a Super Bowl caliber team.
Hey, we were going to talk about this at the end of the segment last week, and we kind of got short on time. So I thought I would take just a couple of minutes and ask you about it. This is a long-standing conversation Brock and I have had. In fact, used to talk about it with Pete Carroll now and again, and he was not opposed to my idea, Brock. And the idea is essentially platooning offensive linemen. And that could happen in 2 ways. It could be game by game based on matchup. We think that this guard is a better matchup against their speed versus this guard is a better matchup against a more power team, or whatever the case may be. So you could do it game by game. But really, for me, it was, Why don't you have, like, you bring in a third down package of receivers? Why don't you bring in some third down offensive linemen who are better at pass blocking? It's not like they can only pass block. Obviously, they're still capable of run blocking. But why don't teams consider the idea? Like, I just don't know why they're playing 5 offensive linemen every single game, almost bar none.
Well, we did already have this discussion, so it really meant a lot to me that you took what I said.
Well, we had it short. We just had a short version of it.
Okay, but I definitely remember having this discussion. But
it was a short.
I think because I remember I had said that I know in talking to the Chargers how they do it is they have put their backups. It used to be, hey, you got to get your best 5 on the field, so you might have a swing tackle can play both tackle spots. You've got your interior guys who can bounce around. So you're practicing those guys at all different spots just to make sure you get your best 5 out there. And they had taken more of an approach of, we're going to have like our right side backups and our left side backups. So, it might not be the same. It's not like if your right guard got hurt, you wouldn't take, okay, this is our next best lineman. It's like, no, this guy backs up our right guard and this guy backs up our left guard, 2 different people. So depending on who goes down, they go in. But the reason why offensive line coaches will be reluctant to have that type of change in and out of a lineup during the game is simply just the communication and the cohesiveness you feel like you have to have with all the different looks that you're going to see. And I know people will say, oh, they're professionals. You practice. Can't you work all that stuff out? There's still just a difference in repping it out and playing so many snaps with the same neighbors that you see things the same. You can read the body language of your guys. You communicate differently. I think there's just a lot of value placed on the cohesiveness of having that same group out there.
And I would add, Salk, like with the third down pass rush, those guys get their work in practice, or receivers and quarterbacks get a lot of reps, right? It's just kind of with the minimal reps that the NFL has. It's shocking when you compare high school reps to college reps to NFL reps and how limited practice time they actually have. I think it does make it a little, and they can't really practice in the offseason. Receivers, guess what they can do? They can practice timing with quarterbacks, and you can build continuity and all of that. It's just, I think it's very difficult to rep.
Its day will come. Just wait. One day somebody will try it, and then its day will come.
I mean, look, to me, the way you kind of get to that a little bit more is just, and you saw it going back to the George Fant days, like the 6th offensive lineman, in some cases the 7th offensive lineman, of getting all those guys out there together. I think you're more likely to see more and more of that going forward.
All right, let's try this then. I asked this of Joel Klatt last week, and I'll ask you. Are we seeing a changing of the guard at the elite level of the quarterback position this year? On one hand, I mean, I think that the same quarterbacks are still the top quarterbacks in the game, but Patrick Mahomes is likely not going to make the playoffs, and Lamar Jackson is very much in doubt of making the playoffs, and Josh Allen's been still really good, but his team is not what it's been. Like, the quarterbacks that are the top, other than Matthew Stafford, there are a whole lot of new, fresh faces on the top of the leaderboard. Are we watching something change?
Well, yeah, Burrow, look at the difference that he makes. I mean, that was a non-competitive team when he was out, and then he pops in there, and all of a sudden they win a game and then had Buffalo on the ropes with what he brought to the table. But yeah, I mean, it used to be the gauntlet. That was the whole thing. You make the playoffs in the AFC, and okay, you got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. If you don't have one of those, I call them like cyborgs, then you're not going to be able to get through that gauntlet. There's no way. Just there's too much talent there. And now we're seeing this whole new wave of guys with all these young players, and Drake May would probably be right there at the tippy top of that list. So I don't think it's necessarily Lamar Jackson would be the one exclusion. I think Lamar, you've clearly seen a drop off in play from him, and that could be injury related. Just he doesn't look like he has the same suddenness or juice that he's had in his MVP years. So that to me is more of a personal drop off. I don't think that Joe Burrow is any less of a player. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is really, his skill level has fallen off, or Josh, depending on what's around him. I don't think Burrow, any of those guys, they're all the same guys. The teams have kind of failed those guys a little bit. And so we're seeing new blood with new teams that have done a better job of surrounding these young quarterbacks with better players. And some of that's simply the financial side of it, where you're not paying them a whole heck of a lot of money. And you can afford to do what New England did and be ultra aggressive in free agency last year.
A big picture question for me. I jumped on a show right after you were on it, I think with Bruce and Rich yesterday, and they continued to brag about John Schneider. And Rich Gannon loves John Schneider as much as anybody, and I think John jumps on that show on Sirius more than any other show on the radio in the country with frequency. And they were just bragging and bragging and bragging about John. Let me just ask you a big picture question. How did Schneider get it so right with Mike McDonald?
That's a great question. I wish I knew Coach McDonald better personally. I can only go off of what, people I know that have worked with him and know him. But I think you found, although you could say they're different people than him and Pete, but there's a lot of similarities there, and that I think that he makes things easy and fun, and they play fast, and there's an accountability that he brings that Pete brought as well. But there's I just feel like when I watch that team and watch Witherspoon after all these plays he makes, and look at how much fun he's having. I don't know the guy. I don't know what his coaching philosophy is like, but I know that when you watch the Seattle Seahawks, they play fast and it looks like they're having a heck of a lot of fun when they're out there on the field. And I think there's probably a lot of similarities between the previous coach and the current coach that people don't point out.
6 blowouts in the season with 4 games left to play. It really has been remarkable. And now we're starting to see a lot of the national folks take notice, people that are a little late to the party, but, the Seahawks are in my top 3, and I think the Seahawks are going to be favored, and this and that, which is great. Do you think they feel any of that? Do they feel any pressure? That's not something they've had to deal with at all.
No, I don't think they feel that at all. And you've got some veteran guys on there too. So they've got a good mixture of guys who've been around. When you have a Tank Lawrence, and you've got Cooper Kupp and these types of players, and Sam's seen a thing or two as well. That's not gonna phase this group at all. I did, by the way, I want to show you, this is it would have been a major character flaw, but somebody tagged me in a post from one of our shows in August, where I talked about this being a team I thought would win the division and all this positive Seahawks stuff. And they tagged me on it. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to repost that. I'm not going to, the real ones know.
Right.
The real ones know. The loyal folks know where we are here.
You're not a big receipts guy.
That's great restraint. You should talk to Louis Riddick about that. He would have posted it. I can tell you that much.
Or Orlovsky would have posted it in 2 seconds. I mean, Dan would have been all.
Dan would have posted before the guy had even sent it to him. Dan's just always posting. It's just a constant stream.
I think Dan direct messaged the guy and told him to post it. That's what happened.
Okay, so little crystal ball. This is fun on Thursday. It's a little later in the week. We're not looking back quite as much. We're looking ahead. So crystal ball, DJ. Along those same lines of you liking the Seahawks, being Seahawky, crystal ball Sunday afternoon, Phillip Rivers. Does he make an impact for the Colts? And is this going to be maybe a little tougher affair with a 44-year-old under center?
I think it's going to be closer than people think. I do. And maybe we can come back and you can throw this back in my face. But my thing with when you have guys like this, and this is a very rare situation with him, to me, I think it's like that Toby Keith song. I'm as good once as I ever was, but
I'm not as good as I once was.
That whole thing.
But I'm as good once as I've ever been.
As I ever was. Yeah, I don't know how Phillip's going to feel the day after this game or what he's going to look like the next week, but I feel like he could conjure up enough out of that 44-year-old body to make this a little bit more competitive than people think.
Who's Toby Keith?
You know that song, right, Saul?
Who's Toby Keith? I don't know what that is.
Stop.
That's Brock. You picked me up on that one. I was fumbling those lyrics, and you scooped up that ball like it was Jalen Hurts, and you didn't fumble it again, which was nice.
Now, Brock and I have gone through this before. I didn't grow up knowing that there was such thing as a country music radio station, so this is it's all new to me. It's all new. They didn't have them in the Northeast.
Before I started dating my wife, I told her I would never listen to country music and I'd never drink Diet Coke. Yeah. And I've probably listened to more country music and drank more Diet Coke than just about anybody outside of Nick Saban.
Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't even consider marrying somebody that likes country music. That'd just be a non-starter. There's certain things you got to work out ahead of time, and that would just be one of them. DJ, thank you. You were talking about how Cincinnati had their problems this year. It's probably because their quarterback was so old, Joe Flacco being, 40. Not 44.
He's a young
40, just a youthful 40. So, all right. DJ,
he's a youngin'.
Thank you as always. Great stuff. Good to have you even a little bit later in the week. And I'll be in. We'll talk next week on Tuesday. Already looking forward to it.
Can't wait. Thanks, guys.
All right, a wide range of material there covered, from the goons at AT&T all the way to that end of that conversation between Mike and Salk and Mike and Brock and Daniel Jeremiah. So good stuff there from Daniel Jeremiah. You will hear him next week as well. But coming up next, Brady Henderson will join me here on Brock and Salk. A lot to dive into with the Seahawks Colts matchup. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
Nick Eamon-Wari is with us. Can you think back to a game where you had more production?
I think yesterday was probably like the most complete I've played.
This is long before you were born. It was actually when I was playing. 1991, the last time somebody had 2 tackles for loss, a sack, an interception, and a field goal block.
They had told me that stat yesterday. I was pretty amazed by it. It's been a long time, but I'm just grateful and blessed for it to be me.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home, thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit? Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
Guys, if you're worn down, putting on weight, dealing with low T symptoms, or ED, something's off. Ignoring symptoms doesn't fix the real issue. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels. A $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. The key areas that reveal what's driving low T, ED, and more. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. This gives you a clear answer on what's off and the steps to improve it. Over 120,000 patients have trusted Revive since 2011 because the results are real. Claim your free full diagnostic panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hi there. Surprise.
30 for 30 presents Booyah.
Get up!
not get a witness from the congregation.
You can't stop authenticity.
Booyah!
Stewart was exactly like you saw him on camera, off camera. He dialed it up 10%.
Can you imagine the impact of young black boys and girls looking at that going, I feel seen?
He changed the culture. He changed sports.
Stream Booyah, presented by Modelo, right now on the ESPN app.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking out!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke Heward. And Brooke Heward.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Oh, good morning. Happy Friday. Neither of those two people are here. Don't worry, though. You have me, Mike Lefko, and Brady Henderson now joining me here on Brock and Salk. Brady, good morning. Welcome.
The bootleg version of Brock and Salk.
I prefer to think of it as the upgraded version.
There's that.
The alternate version. Okay, so we're doing Answer the Question Jerk at 9:45, and that was because of those two. We're just the enlightened men on the mic version.
Yeah.
You got the glasses going. You bring the scholarly air to this show.
Well, we're going to try to do what the Seahawks defense does, which is, hey, when the starters are out, the next man comes in, and it's like it's the same. There's no drop off.
Hopefully, yes. No, Brock and Salk, they do a fine job. As always, they'll be back in some form next week. But you have us for the rest of the show, and we have a good show coming up. We have your counterpart in Indianapolis, Stephen Holder, covers the Colts for ESPN. He's joining us at 7:30 to talk about this headline and this storyline that has kind of taken over the entirety of this matchup. I was talking to Maura before the show about how funny it is that the Seahawks are playing the Colts, but all anyone has talked about is Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Phillip Rivers is coming to play in the NFL, which rightfully so. It's a wild story. It has taken over all of this. So we'll dive into a little bit more of the actual Colts team with him and then at 8 o'clock as well. But yeah, it is pretty funny. It is wild. It's just absurd that Phillip Rivers is coming to play quarterback.
If it wasn't the NFL where wild things happen like somewhat regularly, this would be jaw-dropping. And on some levels it is. And I was talking to Bob and Dave yesterday afternoon about how whenever you see a guy like come out of retirement who like, let's say Brandon Graham, for instance, right? The Eagles edge rusher. So I think he retired at the end of last season. And then he's retired for, 6-7 months. And then he comes back in, in the middle of this season. To me, he's in his mid-late 30s. To me, that is impressive enough. When a guy, when you're a top-tier athlete, one of the best athletes on the planet, and you go half a year, whatever it is, without like truly honing your craft and training, and you come back and jump right back into it. To me, that's almost. I mean, I can't imagine how guys do it. Now you're talking about a guy who's 44 years old, who has not played in 5 years. I mean, 5 months is impressive. 5 years is insane. So it's almost hard to believe. It would be impossible to believe if it wasn't the NFL.
All right, texters are calling us the bootleg version of Brock and Salk. I appreciate it. Hey, send in those questions as well. 866-979-3776 here on our text line. But I think what's so absurd about this and why people almost think it's hilarious and we just don't know what to expect, it's because it's happening in the condensed form of 1 week. Or, less than a week when it comes to the NFL. This is 3+ days of practice. Albert Breer found one example of someone who has been away for 5 years and came back, Steve DeBerg, who came back, signed with the Falcons in 1998, but he did not come back and go in right away. He signed with them at the start of the season. He was on the roster. He was pressed into duty and started a game. But this is Phillip Rivers right from high school, plopped onto an NFL roster and coming here to start against a really good defense.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to talk to my guy Stephen Holder, who covers the Colts for ESPN. about just the many challenges that this is going to be for Phillip Rivers. Now, look, we know the main one. We know at least something about the obvious ones, right? The age, the absence, jumping back into it. Sounds like, for whatever this is worth, he has been running this offense. He's coaching high school, and it sounds like the high school is running this offense. I imagine the playbook is not quite the same, but so maybe that part isn't as big a challenge as the physical aspect of it. But I think even within the physical aspect of it, look, mobility aside, he's never really been a super mobile quarterback. That is going to be a challenge. I'm wondering about the arm strength, because we've seen older quarterbacks have to retire because their arm loses it. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Manning had the neck issues and whatever. But I got to wonder about how strong the arm is at 44, having not played in 5 years. And then the other X factor here, have you looked outside lately?
Oh, I've experienced outside. Yeah.
Yeah. It's raining to the point of flooding.
Driven in it. Well, it is flooding in some parts of the state, it is scary. And so,
right.
Our thoughts go out to everyone dealing with that.
Yeah.
But here in Seattle, you're right, just a lot of rain, the roads, you have some puddles, and it's going to persist, right, throughout the weekend.
Yes, right. And so what does that look like on Sunday when you've got a quarterback who already has all these physical challenges, most likely? Now you're talking about throwing in a wet ball in the rain, potentially. This could get very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just curious about why the Colts think this gives them the best chance to win.
Well, I got to imagine that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard looked at what the Seahawks did a couple weeks ago to an undrafted rookie quarterback in Max Brosmer and said, okay, that is rock bottom, right? Like it can't get a whole lot worse for a quarterback than that.
Yeah.
And if you throw out Riley Leonard, the Colts rookie quarterback, who, by the way, is not totally healthy,
but he's practiced. That's what's crazy. But he's practiced this whole week.
He is. So maybe when they made the move with Rivers, maybe they didn't know exactly what his availability would look like. But they have to imagine that. Look, it's going to be ugly. It's got the potential to be ugly one way or another, and maybe it is slightly less ugly with Rivers in there than a rookie quarterback.
I don't feel bad for him because he willingly did this as well. I'm just fascinated about what this actually looks like. Is it going to be apparent that he is quite out of shape and he's 44 years old? I mean, is he going to get hurt? You're going to need Riley Leonard anyway at some point? I don't see how he not literally survives. I don't see how he gets through an entire game. Against this defense, too. This is not like a bad team you're coming to play. This is a defense that normal quarterbacks cower in front of. We've seen what the Seahawks do to quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I mean, it just I'm not saying I'm rooting for this or that I would revel in this, but you never want to see a guy get hurt. But doesn't this just have the makings of a guy like pulling a hamstring or something, like trying to escape pressure? Now, I got to imagine that if you're Shane Steichen and you're building your offensive game plan, you are focused on one thing above all else, which is getting the football out of Phillip Rivers' hands as quickly as possible. And that's why, between the rain and just the obvious, weird situation of having a 44-year-old quarterback coming out of retirement and also having, by the way, the league's #1 leading rusher in Jonathan Taylor, I think this is a game where it looks like Jonathan Taylor could touch the ball 40 times.
Yeah, I'm almost annoyed by this game, Brady. We can get into a little bit more at 8:30, but because there's such an important game looming just 4 days after, this almost seems like an unnecessary charade. Like, why do the Colts have to come here and take up the Seahawks' time? Why do the Seahawks have to be bothered by playing this game when the Rams game, the most important game of the year, looms on Thursday? It's almost like just get to that. I hope the Seahawks get out to a huge lead. They can rest the starters. You don't have to really worry about it because all the things you've just thrown out there, it just feels like such a no-win situation. Outside of literally the win, which matters a lot, almost nothing can go right for the Seahawks. They're expected to dominate. They should dominate, and you have this massive game looming with just 3 days of rest after.
All right, here, what I'm doing right now, I'm Googling the address of the NFL office in New York, and I'm going to give you maybe Roger Goodell, the direct line to Roger Goodell. You can call him.
Do you think he answers?
Yeah, and see if you can make your petition to maybe just have them cancel this game,
It would save you a Sunday, right? You could just
that's true, although it's going to be raining, so it's not like I can go out and play
so.
golf anyway. So, yeah, you might as well just play the game.
All right, yeah. Hey, had it been good weather, Roger Goodell, we want this game canceled, but because Brady can't golf, please play this game anyway. He's got nothing else to do, so we'll do that. I am fascinated to know. I'm very curious. I want to get your prediction on that. And this. Text in as well. Texters, this is a question for you as well. 866-979-3776. You are familiar with the Phillip Rivers scowl We all know the face, how angry he gets. How many plays until he makes that face? I'm setting the over-under on 4.5. 4.5 plays until we see the infamous Phillip Rivers scowl.
Yeah, that's a good question. The other one I wondered about, we were talking about this with Dave and Bob yesterday, is he gonna have his usual trash talk? Like,
oh sure, yeah.
But I don't know, if you're Phillip Rivers and you have so many other things to worry about, and you are so vulnerable to having like a very rough day. Is this maybe a game where you save the trash talk? I don't know. And look, I say all this.
I don't think that's in his nature to save the trash talk. That's his personality.
It's not. and look, maybe he gets going. Look, like the NFL is so unpredictable that here we are talking about how the chance, like everything points to this ending horribly for Rivers and the Colts. The other side of that is that this is the NFL and crazy things happen. So if 44-year-old Phillip Rivers can come out of retirement after not playing for 5 years, well, yeah, why wouldn't Phillip Rivers just go turn on the fountain of youth and look great?
Yeah, Football Fridays are powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. We're going to dive a little bit more into the injuries around this game and then an outcome that kind of shocked the NFL world last night, what it means for the Seahawks in the playoff picture moving forward. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Was anyone in any way nervous at the half? I wasn't.
I wasn't worried at all. But obviously, I do the pre-halftime and post-game shows.
Yeah.
People I told you, Sam is the same old Sam. The run game.
Like they were texting it or they were showing up?
I'm telling you, the text lines were popping, and it lets me kind of feel what you guys are feeling.
Yeah.
But when they start balling, I need those same people to text in like, actually, I'm good now.
Only on Seattle Sports.
Well, it's pretty hard to believe the holidays are here, and now is a great time for fitness gifts for your friends and family, or maybe even for yourself. Hey, Brock Ewart here, and from weight sets and accessories to the complete home gym, my friends at Top Fitness is the place to shop, and doing it right now. Top Fitness got certified pre-owned, pre-core commercial treadmills that are the same models used in hotels and clubs that typically sell for over $13,000 and available for you. You ready for this? For $3,300. They look like new and they come with a full warranty. So don't settle for that lightweight, cheaper treadmill when you can get a deal this good. As always, you get free delivery and assembly on those Precor treadmills, ellipticals, and exercise bikes. It's no secret why everyone, from personal trainers to pro athletes, love Top Fitness. You can visit them in Tukwila, Linwood, or Bellevue, or go to topfitness.com for all the fitness enthusiasts on your holiday lists. Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
It's Toyota-thon. Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota Renton are providing you with large savings and the widest selection of inventory on Toyota favorites like the 2026 Corolla LE, leasing at $219 a month for 39 months with $29.99 due at signing. The Camry LE at 4.99% APR for 72 months, and the Prius leasing at $305 a month for 36 months with $29.99 due at signing. It's Toyota-thon at ToyotaofKirkland.com and ToyotaofRenton.com. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered.
Offers valid till January 5th, 2026. Excludes taxes, titles, licenses, dealer accessories, and a $200 negotiable dealer documentation fee. Models 1-852-255-1263.
From holiday hosting to unforgettable gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And now, during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. I was lucky enough to receive Omaha Steaks as a gift, and it was everything I had hoped for. Items were individually packaged so I could cook for the entire family. Or if I was the only one home, I would treat myself with a delicious steak, sides, and even dessert. I loved those nights by myself. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. It's holiday magic made easy. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code SKY at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, code SKY.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Welcome to Cricket Wireless. Santa?
I've got to get Mrs. Claus a gift or I'm in a whole lot of trouble.
How about a single unlimited line? Only $35, plus a free Moto G 5G.
Dude, you're a lifesaver. Here, take a present.
Says it's for Timmy in Des Moines.
Never heard of him.
Join Cricket Nation and get a single line for $35 per month, plus a free Moto G 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Requires activation of new line on select unlimited plan or higher. Pay $40 first month. New lines only. First month service charge. Tax to its sale fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? Well, with Xfinity, you can get reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent gig speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig speed Wi-Fi, guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You could save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, and even unlimited data, all included, all at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig internet and AT&T 1000 internet and 1 unlimited starter SL line.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, there's good news on the injury front for the Seahawks. Jalen Sundell was a full participant in practice as he tries to work his way back from a knee injury that had landed him on IR. Now, Mike McDonald was asked about this Monday. I know you were there, Brady, and he didn't give any indication about where Sundell would play, whether he'd come back and they'd try to put him at center or at the guard position on the O-line. So then it was kind of, I made the analogy of when you don't get the answer you want from one parent, you go to the other.
That's right.
So yesterday, Clint Kubiak was asked about this, and he gave a little bit more of a revealing answer about where Sundell would play when he returns.
We're getting him back into the groove of practice this week. We have 2 starting centers, in my opinion. We have 2 starting players that have led our group in an excellent way. So it's a discussion we have to have as coaches.
I know there's that theory about him maybe coming back at the right guard spot, but it seems like, if we're going to take Clint Kubiak at his word, Sundell is in competition with Olu at center.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a change at right guard this week. And my guess is that if Sundell is ready to go, he is going to start that game. And Mom and Dad were almost like kind of on the same page there, at least in terms of trying to not answer the question directly. But if we were to parse Clint Kubiak's answer there, it was almost like he kind of gave it away, and then he tried to reel it back and kind of maintain the mystery when he said they have 2 starting centers. And he said, oh, no, 2 starting players. So that was my interpretation of it. I think the other important thing to keep in mind here is that, this whole conversation exists, as whether it's moot or not, because of how inconsistent Anthony Bradford has been at right guard. So the thought has been that, well, if you've got these 2 starting caliber players in Sundell and Oluwatimi, Sundell, by the way, was competing for the right guard job in addition to competing at center over the summer. Well, why not put Sundell in at right guard? But remember what Mike McDonald said Monday. He was asked about Bradford and some of the up and down play this year, and he said Bradford was actually their highest rated offensive lineman in that game Sunday versus Atlanta. By the way, Mike Lefko, these are not PFF grades, okay? Believe it or not, teams have their own internal grading system. So in their internal grading system, Bradford was their best offensive lineman. Doesn't seem like the week where they're going to make a change.
Oh, I just thought they clicked refresh a couple times, and then it finally updated. Like, that matches what we saw on tape. So.
Yeah, they're like, what did this guy from another state? I'm not going to make the parents'
Entering
basement
data,
joke,
yeah.
but what did this guy think of the way our offensive lineman played?
So Sundell should be back. We'll see where he plays. Final injury report is today, and then of course you have to wait and see on Sunday where he actually goes and lines up if he is back in the starting lineup.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Brady, there was quite a shakeup in the NFC playoff picture last night and the NFC South as well, where the Bucs tumbled out of first place after a 1-point loss, a walk-off field goal by the Falcons. So they lose 29-28. They blow a 14-point fourth quarter lead. After the game, Todd Bowles was mad, I guess. I mean, he was annoyed. Take a listen to this, and if you want to count along, I was counting expletives that he dropped earlier, but he drops all these words. Doesn't seem quite angry in terms of tone, but here was Todd Bowles after the loss when he was asked, what do you tell your locker room after a game like this?
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where it hurts. You got to care enough where it hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. That's for no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
Were you counting along? I was only counting because I had to bleep out every one of those words.
Yeah.
So just making sure I didn't miss one.
Well, I trusted your count. I was more paying attention to like the inflection, or I guess lack thereof. And
Right.
You're right. It was just sort of like deadpan monotone the whole time. The Falcons. What was it? 18 penalties.
19 penalties. Yeah,
So
and they still win.
When you lose a game at home against a team that gives up well over 100 yards in penalty yards, that's why Todd Bowles is. And this, by the way, this was a 4-win Falcons team, and the Panthers and Bucs they were neck and neck in terms of the NFC South. So now Carolina leads it by a half game at 7-6 in a weird scheduling quirk. Those two teams have yet to play each other. They play each other twice over the span of the final 3 weeks of the season. So that division is still, long way to go to determining that division. But yeah, that was a pretty big shakeup last night.
And sandwiched in between that for the Panthers is the Seahawks game,
Right.
which has this strange dynamic now of if the Seahawks are the 5th seed, as they are currently, you're going to go back to Charlotte. You're going to play the Panthers twice. If the Panthers win the division, the Seahawks stay in the 5 seed and don't, unseat the Rams. They have to play the Panthers December 28th and then go back there 2 weeks later.
That's right, yeah. So remember that's the 5 seed plays the 4 seed, so the 5 seed would play the worst of the 4 division winners. And at this rate, I don't know how that isn't. I mean, I suppose maybe the NFC South catches
Eagles,
up to the NFC East, so maybe it's Philly, and Philly looks like they're going to win that division pretty easily. But yeah, so that very well could be a rematch of the first.
I was helping you out. Plan your travel accordingly.
Thank
so hopefully
you.
the Seahawks just win against the Rams or the 1 seed. You don't have to worry about it, but keep that in mind, Brady. You're going to Charlotte again.
Just every sports writer will tell you that as lovely of a city as Green Bay is, logistically speaking, that's not where you want to go, especially when you're booking a flight on short notice.
Right.
There's the potential of bad weather. I remember I'm taking up way too much time here. Quick story. I remember driving in this like Steve Urkel size rental car, like hydroplaning on the road from Milwaukee to Green Bay because it was nasty out and the car hardly weighed anything. So at least for sports writers, which nobody cares about, like that's what we typically want to avoid in January is a playoff game in Green Bay.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
The SEC released their 2026 football schedule yesterday. Lane Kiffin, he returns to Ole Miss on September 19th. And then one more thing you need to know real quickly. The Kraken are one of only 2 games on the NHL schedule tonight in Utah for 1 before returning home for 2 starting on Sunday. They dropped to 6th in the division. How about that Lane Kiffin return? I'm sure that will go over well when he goes back to Ole Miss in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, college football fans, they are nothing if not zealous. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting welcome home for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, it should be just nice, casual not too heated or anything like that. But yeah, you look ahead to September 19th and get the vitriol ready. All right, Brady and I are going to continue this Seahawks Colts conversation with one of your colleagues, Stephen Holder, ESPN Colts reporter, who was right there, front and center. He's made a pretty emphatic statement when it comes to Phillip Rivers and the Colts. We will talk to him about that, get a preview of this week's game. That's coming up next here on Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob.
Devin Witherspoon has been fantastic this year.
Every afternoon at 2.
He interviews like he plays. Energy. Yeah.
We just need a blade of grass. Give us a blade of grass, bro. That's all we need.
Like when people try to block him, it's like trying to block water. Yeah. I mean, he just is all over the place. His feet are phenomenal, and then you hear the energy there. So just the tempo of his voice and the way he talks. Like, can you imagine you got a guy like that on the field?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
All right, we're getting close to this big game and getting an opportunity to watch a 44-year-old out there. Do you know where you're watching the game? Well, if you don't have tickets, how about heading to Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel? An unforgettable experience, and you can stay the night as well. The new hotel is just tremendous. Love the sports bar with 60-plus televisions, great food, awesome spot to watch the game, and do all the fun stuff that comes with it at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You want more details? Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Okay. Only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There. The last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, a new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Nugget bells, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts. And of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Gonna let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here with you. We've been talking Seahawks Colts, and who better than to get the perspective on Phillip Rivers and this Colts team that a guy that, Brady, you said, hey, I'm not coming on this show. I'm not hosting the show unless you get this man, Stephen Holder, on, ESPN Colts reporter, who joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Stephen, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning. I guess I better come through. This better be good, I guess.
I had a list of demands, Stephen, and this was top of the list.
Yeah, Brady was like, do I want to sit in? Nah, hey, if you get my guy, Stephen, my ESPN colleague, I'll come and sit with you, Lefko. So like, okay. So we're glad you're here. And Stephen, this has become the story in the NFL this week. The Colts have become the story in the NFL because of Phillip Rivers. And you had a tweet up a couple days ago that you said, your time in the building, you left me more convinced that Phillip Rivers is this week's starting quarterback. So how does that look, and how does that translate on the field Sunday?
Well, first, I have no idea how it's going to look, but it is exactly that. It is the story of the week, and I think we're all still kind of coming to terms with it. Like, is this really happening? Are they really going to do this? And I think the answer so far is yes. The reason we know that is just because you can tell how guys talk about the starting quarterback. You talk to his teammates and get observations, and they're talking about how he's governing the meetings and how he's sort of fine-tuning routes and practice and those kinds of things. Those are the things that the starting quarterback does, okay? The question is really about how does he feel at the end of this, week of practice? Does he feel physically up to this? Does he feel like he's dialed in? And those are questions that they want to take every available moment to evaluate before they make a final decision. So the way I anticipate this going is they will go through practice today in a couple hours, and then at the end of the day probably make their final decision. But it is all trending that way. They just haven't, I don't think, made it official just yet, just to leave the door open for any possibilities.
Steven, I was telling Lefko earlier about how amazing it is to me whenever you see a guy come out of retirement, who's only been retired since maybe like the end of the previous season, like Brandon Graham with the Eagles, for instance. And it always shocks me how guys are able to do that, having not trained in, X amount of months. Well, we're now talking about a guy who has not played in 5 years. Why is this even like physically conceivable for this to happen, do you think?
I mean,
or is it?
I guess we will see if it is. That's the question, right? I mean, it's happening, but will they pull it off is another question, right? But I would say this, that you're right. It is the right question because, I mean, think about it. We all, we should at least do some kind of exercise. Well, take 6 months off and then see how you feel on that first day back, right? That's it. And I am not a world-class athlete. No one's mistaking me for that. So I can't even imagine. Now, if you ask Phillip, what he says is, I think that his style of play is different and more conducive to pulling something like this off. I think that's partly true. It doesn't mean he can pull it off, but he's not wrong. As he said, look, I was never running away from anybody anyway, and that is definitely true. And I would say this, too. The thing that you lose perhaps last is your ability to throw the ball. So I don't – in watching him, I don't observe that he is throwing the ball much differently than I recall. So that part, I think, is realistic. The problem is you can't move the same way that you used to move. But as he said, look, I never was a guy for whom movement was a big part of my game. He's going to hang in the pocket. He's going to be pretty stationary, which you would think makes it easy for the defense. But the one thing Phillip Rivers had and still has is a quick delivery. So he's going to know where to go with the ball. He's going to get rid of it quick. Just what's going to happen, though, is my question. What happens when there's that unblocked blitzer or that there's a miscommunication with the offensive line, he takes a hit? I mean, those are the questions we can't answer, but odds are we will get our answer if he plays.
Yeah, Steven, we were talking about this. Like, is he going to not literally survive, but is he going to make it through the game? If he doesn't, if he pulls a hamstring, if he gets hurt, takes a big hit and has to leave, is Riley Leonard okay? I mean, we saw he's practiced, but what's the option if Phillip Rivers does start and then does get hurt and can't finish the game?
Yeah, I anticipate Riley Leonard would enter the game in that scenario, provided that Rivers starts, which isn't official, but, we're working under that assumption. So in that scenario, yes, I think Riley Leonard would. He has been a full participant in practice the last couple of days, so I was confused at first. I was like, all right, you guys said he was hurt so badly you had to go call Phillip Rivers, but I actually think that's not what this ever was. I think Daniel Jones got hurt, and they said to themselves, we're still in the playoff hunt. We need to consider our options. And before they even realized, I think, the severity of Riley Leonard's injury, to whatever extent it was severe. But anyhow, before that was even clarified, the discussion about Phillip Rivers had already begun. So this really isn't about Riley Leonard, except to the extent that they don't think Riley Leonard can get them the next couple of wins they need to get in the postseason. So I think that's what this is saying. They said, look, we got a better shot going and getting a guy off the couch who played 5 years ago. It sounds insane, but that's what they're saying.
Steven, another subplot to this game is that the weather in Seattle, and this may not shock you, has been awful. And there may be more rain in the forecast on Sunday. So knowing the physical challenges that Phillip Rivers is going to be up against, knowing that Indianapolis has the NFL's leading rusher in Jonathan Taylor, I want you to put down your reporter notebook for a moment, pick up the play sheet, and make sure you cover your mouth so nobody reads your lips here. Tell me what you think this offensive game plan is going to look like for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think they would like to be able to run the ball effectively. And they certainly have proven they can do that, right? I mean, Jonathan Taylor's still leading the NFL in rushing, but if you play fantasy, I don't, but lots of you do. You probably are well aware that lately it's been a little quiet for Jonathan Taylor, and I think a couple things have happened. The passing game was a little bit inconsistent, and then the offensive line, I think their performance has degraded the last few weeks, or at least declined, and all of that has conspired really to put Jonathan Taylor in a tough spot. I mean, they've had a lot of long third down situations. Those have not gone well, which would not surprise you in the NFL. That's the worst place to be. So if they can get some easy completions on first down That, I think, is going to be the key, or at least get some yards on first down. That's what they've lacked. They were absolutely explosive on first down throughout the first half of the season. And you saw the record pace they were on. Everybody was talking about it. That has since disappeared. If they can get something closer to that, and I don't know if it's possible against that Seattle defense, but if they can get back to being productive on first down, now Jonathan Taylor becomes a weapon. Okay, you can go to that run on 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2, those kinds of things. So that, I think, is going to be a key to getting the running game going. And if they do, you're going to give Phillip Rivers at least a fighting chance.
Stephen Holder, ESPN Colts reporter, is with us here on Brock and Salk. Stephen, on the other side of the ball, I know there have been some injuries to that defense, but where do the Colts feel like their defense is at right now?
It is not in a great spot, I think, not because they don't have talent. They do, but it's not what they expected it to be. I mean, in terms of personnel. Look, they went out and made that Sauce Gardner trade. Obviously, everyone saw that. It was super aggressive, and we can argue about the wisdom of giving up 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. But I would say this, the secondary that they planned on putting out there after that trade looked pretty damn good, to the point where it was in the conversation for, is this the best secondary, at least on paper, in the NFL, or one of at least? Well, that unit isn't together and hasn't been together except for maybe 3 quarters. Injuries have really killed them. So you might be familiar with Charvarius Ward, who played in San Francisco in the Seahawks division. They made him a big part of their offseason free agent haul. He's been on injured reserve. Is on a second stint on injured reserve now this year. So he's out. Sauce Gardner will likely not play. He hasn't practiced this week with a calf injury that they got to be careful with. Achilles are going around. And then you also are still missing DeForest Buckner, also a former 49er, who I think is the most important player on their defense. So he's practicing this week, but he's been out for a month, and I'm not sure he's going to make it back. We'll see. Big day for him. So without those 3 pieces, you're talking about the 3 best players on that defense. And you take them out, and now all of a sudden you're having a much different conversation. So it has been a roller coaster defensively, I think, in the second half of the season for the Colts, and it doesn't get easier this week.
Stephen, part of the reason why the Colts are in this situation with Phillip Rivers, of course, is because Anthony Richardson is on injured reserve. And I didn't realize how freak of an accident that was that he suffered a few weeks ago. So can you tell us about what happened with Anthony Richardson, and also what his first, 2.5 seasons in the NFL has been like? The Seahawks fans might remember that name as, he was in the conversation, at least, in terms of public speculation about what the Seahawks could do with the 5th overall pick in the 2023 draft. Obviously, they went a different direction. He went 4th overall, right? And then the Seahawks, I don't know if the Seahawks would have drafted him if he was there anyways, but the Seahawks got Devin Witherspoon. But he was a guy who a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest were really paying a lot of attention to a couple years ago.
No, you outlined that, I think, perfectly. I was following his pre-draft process pretty closely because, he was obviously in the mix for Indianapolis. And I can tell you with pretty good certainty that Seattle was definitely in the mix. Pete Carroll, Pete's still there, right? Yeah. I think Pete Carroll had a lot of interaction with him in his camp. So I think Pete was definitely a fan. But anyway, be that as it may, we are where we are now. I'll start with the injury. I don't know if I've ever covered a stranger injury. This was a pregame situation where, like lots of quarterbacks, they use these stretching bands, to kind of loosen up and, sort of like you might see a pitcher do, perhaps. Like
an over the top when Stallone is, he's working the bicep muscles and his, semi-truck,
exactly.
Right? Kind of like that.
Right. I'm doing it as I talk to you guys, just getting ready, for my my workout here. Anyhow, I'm not even working out today. So you attach it to some sort of rod, I guess, on the wall. This is in the locker room. And in the process of him doing this exercise, that thing that it was attached to snapped, and that rod hit him square in the face and just missed his eye. His right eye. but the impact was so forceful. As you can imagine, these are, thick stretching bands. The impact was so forceful, it broke his orbital bone, and it was a pretty grisly scene, apparently. Blood everywhere. He was rushed to the hospital. This was just an unbelievable situation. Underwent surgery to repair that thing. So they have really just had to keep him far away from football since. I mean, it wasn't even an option for a couple months, and or at least we're coming up on a couple months now. I don't know if he makes it back this year. He still hasn't been cleared. But you asked me about just sort of where he's at. It's been an up and down. That's it. His two things with him, and they've both been up and down. His performance, clearly, and his health. He's been in and out of the lineup. And I think if it were one of those problems and not both, we might be having a different conversation. But with both of those issues confronting Anthony Richardson, it was so much that the Colts decided they needed to consider another option, and that's how we got to Daniel Jones. Now, the last thing I would say, Daniel Jones, having just torn his Achilles last week, that changes everything for the next calendar year. And I think now Anthony Richardson next season, perhaps, maybe, comes back into the picture because he'll be available.
Wow. Yeah, what an injury. That is freaky and kind of flukish. Well, Steven, we appreciate all the insight. Thanks for joining us this morning. Brady said something about picking up the tab when you were in town. I don't know. That you guys figure that out. But, Steven, thanks for taking the time, and we appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon.
See you, Steven.
Did I just throw you under the bus?
No,
there?
I think
you have to pay. You're hosting.
So. Yeah, well, we all get per diem. So,
right.
Yeah.
There you go. Your colleagues coming to town.
That's right.
You take them out, show them around. Now you could pull off the excuse, the rain. Hey, I would go out with you, man, but it's raining, so I can't. So, sorry.
Sorry
to throw you under the bus.
I'll gladly buy Steven.
There you go. Stephen Holder, ESPN Colts reporter, was our guest there. Some good insight about the Colts. We're going to keep the football conversation going with Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88, powered by Xfinity.
We're going to go red, right, tight, close, sprint left, G, U corner, halfback, flat, on one. Ready?
Brock Eward tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Blue 88.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
We are playing the role of, depending on how you want to look at it, bootleg version of Brock and Salk or enhanced, enlightened versions of these two. But Brady, you're playing the role of Brock today, so I'll start off with asking you about these guys coming back from injury. All the focus is on Jalen Sundell this week, but what about the other guy, Eric Saubert? What impact might he have if he's activated this week?
Yeah, well, that timing would work out pretty well for the Seahawks because it sounds like they're going to be without Elijah Arroyo, their rookie second-round pick this week because of the knee injury that he suffered, I believe, in the first half of the Atlanta game. And, Saubert has been eligible to come off IR for a couple weeks now. We'll see if it happens this week. He was a limited participant on Wednesday and Thursday in his return to practice. But if he comes back with Arroyo out, you're probably looking at your number 2 tight end. Already been a guy who has done a lot of good things, really under the radar. As your number 3 tight end who's really there to block more than catch passes. Not really going to stand out a lot, but I can tell you that they've been very happy with what they've gotten from him, both on the field and just in the locker room. And I learned a new word earlier this week. It was vibery. I think Cooper Kupp said there's some good vibery with Eric Saubert. So he's a guy who's getting it done quietly on the field. Also been just a really good presence in the locker room. And he's on a 1-year deal. And Lefko, I would not surprise me if he sticks around for a few more years after this.
Vibery. Okay, well, it's Cooper Kupp saying it, so at least we know it's not like a young Gen Z thing. There are all these terms that are thrown out there that I don't know what's being said anymore.
Viber. I didn't even know if that's so. He may have just made it up on the spot.
That's
may have
good.
just spoken to him in that moment.
I'm going to trust Cooper Kupp more than some 21-year-old who says a word that has just been made up and now gets thrown into the lexicon there that I'm just going to refuse to acknowledge it exists.
Yeah.
But, hey, if Cooper Kupp's saying it, maybe we could adopt that. The theme of this show today, a little vibery.
Vibery. That's
I
right.
was also looking up Eric Saubert's numbers. 1 reception this year for 12 yards. So, yes, not really a receiving guy, but helpful in the blocking.
Blocking guy, playing a lot of special teams, and apparently he's bringing some good vibery.
All right, number 2. Well, speaking of a guy who can make some receptions, we saw a pretty big game receiving-wise for Rashid Shaheed. Certainly his best game as a receiver for the Seahawks last week against the Falcons. What's been a hidden way, or what's a hidden way that Shaheed has helped the Seahawks team, though?
Yeah, and you really have not seen the production, or you didn't see it over the first few games with him. I think it was only 73 combined yards. Remember, they lined him up in the backfield a few times, in addition to throwing it to him. And I think over his first few games, going into that Atlanta game, it was like 73 yards on 9 touches. Then he catches 4 passes for 67 yards, a couple big ones. 2 of them were on third down. One of them was on the drive where they ended up getting 3 points in the 2-minute situation before halftime. So that was the breakout game in terms of production. But I would say he has kind of quietly been making an impact on this offense just with his presence before that. And one of the great things about working at ESPN is we got access to this great database of stats. And I went and looked at the number of plays they faced with 2 high safeties, both before the Shaheed trade and after it. And the difference is not like night and day or anything like that, but they had run the most plays of any offense against single high safety looks in whatever it was, the 9 games or so before they made that Rashid Shaheed trade. And I have to imagine that was part of the motivation, is when you bring in one of the premier deep threats in the NFL, logically that's going to soften up defenses and force them to get a guy out of the box and drop him back into coverage, knowing that this guy with his 4.3 track speed is going to run by you if you're not careful. And so I want to say the percentage, when I looked it up the other day, it was about 7-8%. So again, not a drastic shift, but enough to where you could maybe point to some of the success they've had with the run game efficiency getting better over the last few weeks. Yeah, I do wonder if part of that is the fact that you're facing some lighter boxes because you have, again, one of the premier deep threats on the outside.
Yeah, it's interesting because what we do here, obviously, is mostly kind of react to what we have seen, or the tangible sample size of this is the impact because we've seen it. But getting into what you were looking at and the projecting forward, well, I'm sure the Seahawks also thought, well, hey, we're not getting him for just one game or what he can do in this specific situation. It's that continual presence to build everything you described of, well, look, we have 4 games here at the end of the year that are vitally important, and if it continues to trend in this direction, and then for the playoffs, you can't quantify that yet, so we can't really put a stamp on and analyze the impact, but I like where it's leading and everything you just broke down there of the best probably for Shaheed and this offense is still ahead of them because of everything that we have started to see since he's been there.
And oh, by the way, he's a threat to score anytime he touches the ball, whether that's on offense or on special teams, like you saw. I mean, he got to the second, he broke through that initial wave of defenders, and with only the kicker to beat, and he was gone. And part of that, I think Mike McDonald mentioned this, is that you're kind of seeing the effects of the new kickoff rule where, because space is so much more condensed, once you break that initial wave, there's not a whole lot of defenders. There's not like that second wave of guys after that. So, maybe we'll see more of that going forward in general. But, yeah, once he broke through that initial wave of bodies, there was no chance anybody
This just led me to another thought about this. This is not the third question yet, but just the strategy. Are you surprised by the amount of strategy that has gone into the new kickoff? So yesterday, Sean Tucker for the Bucs tried to do something where he straddled the line. So if he caught it, it would go out to a certain yard line, but he was in the end zone, so it went to the 20. And we know how well the Seahawks have adapted to all these little quirks of this kickoff rule. I didn't anticipate how much strategy would go into a kickoff with these changes.
Yeah, and strategy in the return aspect of it as well. And that's something that you've kind of seen. You've seen players do even under the old kickoff rule where you would see, like, if a ball was on the verge of going out of bounds. Leon Washington did this, and other guys have done it where, they will get themselves out of bounds and then field the ball, which is not yet out of bounds. And that counts as the ball going out of bounds in terms of, for rule purposes. So then you'd see that drive would start at the 40-yard line. So it does place a premium on players who really understand the rules and all the nuances. And so maybe you are seeing some special teams coordinators separate themselves with their ability to understand the rules and convey it to their players.
All right, number 3. Brady, who has a chance to jumpstart their season on Sunday?
I'm going to give you 2 guys, Mike Lefko.
Okay.
Boye Mafe and Derek Hall. And we all know how great this defensive front has been. We all know about how well they have done at getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks despite not blitzing a whole lot. Second highest pressure rate in the NFL, and I want to say they're in the bottom 5 or so in terms of blitz rate. And you're doing that because you got a lot of guys who can get home in terms of that front 4. And it's not just 4 guys. It's whoever of the 8 guys that they have in that rotation who are able to get pressure on the quarterback. Well, Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, amazingly, only have 2 sacks between them, 1 sack apiece. And that kind of belies some of the pressure that they've gotten. Boye Mafe, I don't know exactly where he ranks right now, but he, for much of the season, he's been in the top 10 in terms of pass rush win rate among edge defenders. For whatever reason, it hasn't translated to sacks. And this is a game where if there was ever a game where it looks like pressure can translate into sacks, it's a game like this, where you've got
where the quarterback can't move.
44-year-old quarterback who's never been all that good at scrambling anyways. And now he's coming off the couch at 44 years old, having not played in 5 years. So this is a game where, maybe this is the game that jumpstarts. Now, that's not to say that those guys have not had good seasons. It just hasn't translated into sack production. But if there was ever a game where that could happen, it's this one.
And this is a big offseason for Boye Mafe.
It is.
So,
and Derek Hall, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only in his 3rd year, but this is after this season, of course. He'll be eligible for a contract extension, whereas Boye Mafe is probably going to get to free agency.
Yeah. Well, that is Blue 88. Good stuff there from Brady Henderson. I like that you mentioned the defensive line because the Seahawks defense, in a large part, is among the best in the NFL because of that defensive line. But one NFL analyst kind of not really gave him a backhanded compliment, but might be underselling a little bit how good this defense has been. We will get into that and much more. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson with you. This is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
How will the offense get even better?
Once Torrey Horton gets back, this offense can be even better. Imagine him in this offense. That third receiver's kind of been missing. Granted, there's a lot of 2 receiver combinations out there that you do play with a couple of tight ends at times. And that's what's exciting about this team on both sides of the football is that offense is great, defense is great, and you still haven't had these big performances from guys who are more than capable of doing it.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on, like a close friend who never lies. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through December 21st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
The Oki Golf Platinum Players Card is $50 off with the Friends and Family Holiday Discount. The best value in golf. Get 7 prepaid rounds, 7 50% off guest passes, and unlimited discounted green fees at every public Oki golf course. Play favorites like the Golf Club at Newcastle, Washington National, and Harbor Point. This is the only time you'll see a deal like this. So whether you're gifting it or grabbing it for yourself, don't miss your chance. Visit okigolf.com and save $50 before December 31st.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. DayandNight.net.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels of $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. 0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This is TV's Dr. Travis Stork for Eggland's Best. Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, with more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Holiday shopping got you stressed? The Mariners have you covered. Grab a season ticket membership for the super fan in your life, and they could lock in the best seats and benefits like guaranteed postseason access. Or mix and match with single game tickets for everyone on your list, from opening day on March 26th to must-see matchups against the Yankees, Phillies, and more. This holiday season, make Mariners.com your one-stop shopping destination.
Oh, he makes the catch. What a snag by Julio Rodriguez. Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Marcus. Sorry about just Mike Heward. Not exactly Joe Kapp there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here with you on a nice rainy Friday morning. It's good. It's a Friday. The Seahawks game against the Colts is close. The game against the Rams is just 6 days away. So it's good. It's a Friday. The weather notwithstanding, Brady was going to probably, go play golf after you got done here at 10 o'clock? I know you have a job to do. Sorry. I forget that, we get done at 10. You have an actual, Seahawks press conference to cover and all that. So, hey, maybe it's good that it's raining. But outside of that, Brady, we got a lot to get to today. The next couple hours here, we are going to do some buying and selling at 8:45. Some topics around the NFL. Are you on board with it? Do you not agree? So we'll buy and sell at 8:45. At 9:45, answer the question jerk, which you can submit your questions whenever you want. 866-979-3776. Gotten a handful already, so I can't wait to get to those.
Some good ones?
Yeah, and one astute listener pointed out that they thought I was trying to get out of mean texts, which is what Wyman and Bob do on Friday afternoons. Different show, but hey, along those lines, if your question is going to be mean-themed, I guess we'll get to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, be mean, just do it in the form of a question.
Do it in the form of a question and maybe disguise it kind of in a compliment to make us feel better. But yes, we'll get to whatever questions you have at 9:45. Until we get there, though, a lot to break down with this Seahawks-Colts matchup. And then this Seahawks team in general, Brady, because we've talked about the defense kind of ascending to a tract of not just best in the NFL, but all those comparisons. You can kind of pry back, look back to that Legion of Boom era and say, where does this team match up? Is it similar in terms of vibery, to quote Cooper Kupp? Do the dominant areas of the Legion of Boom also kind of mesh with the Seahawks defense now, or are they slightly different? I think just first of all, on the surface, when you look at this Seahawks defense, do you put them as the best in the NFL, or are there areas where you think other teams might have a little stronger case right now?
Yeah, look, the most important thing that a defense has to do is to not allow points. And right now the Seahawks are second in terms of points allowed defensive wise. Now I just isolate like defensive points, right? So I'm not counting, if you throw a pick six, that counts. That shouldn't count on your defense's ledger. So in terms of defensive points allowed, it's Houston 1, Seattle 2. So if you want to say Houston is number 1, you're not going to get an argument out of me there, because the number one important thing you got to do is to avoid points. Now, just comparing the two defenses, I think one thing that stands out is that this defense starts up front, and the strength of this defense, maybe the strength of the team as a whole, is how good the front four are. And again, it's not just 4 specific guys, but whatever 4 guys you have on the field at that one point, they're 50 plus sacks already, I think it is. Now, the difference between Seattle and Houston in that regard is that with Houston, it's Will Anderson Jr. and it's Danielle Hunter. What may be the best duo of edge rushers in the entire NFL. Some other teams could probably, argue that they are in that conversation too, but you probably don't have a better group of edge rushers. But it's those guys, and that's really, I don't want to say that's it, but it's really built around those 2 guys, whereas the Seahawks, it's a group effort. I mean, Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy are going to threaten for double-digit sacks. Uchenna Nwosu and DeMarcus Lawrence are both having great seasons. Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, who we mentioned, those guys can really put some heat on opposing quarterbacks, even if the sack production hasn't been there. And then obviously, Jaron Reed coming back, and he's a starter on a lot of teams, and whether you consider him a starter in this defense or not, that's sort of how you define it, whatever it is. But the point is, he's one of many guys in this defensive front that is really deep, and that's probably one area where the Seahawks have the advantage over Houston, is that they are a lot deeper, especially up front.
Okay, so Daniel Jeremiah agrees with you. He has Houston number 1 and the Seahawks number 2. A lot of those reasons that he outlined to Brock and Salk. So, yes, hard to quibble with the scoring defense. The Texans are good. The Seahawks, I like what you said about the defensive line and that depth. And to me, this is why, at least right now, I don't compare the Seahawks defense to the Legion of Boom. To me, this defense feels more like the Eagles defense last year, with the insane depth on the defensive line, where the Eagles could almost line change, roll in a second unit that was just as good as that first tier, that first front group in there. And I know a lot of analysts were saying, look, this Eagles defensive line, some of their backups are as good as starters on other teams. And it does feel like that with the Seahawks, which I guess is a long way of saying I feel very confident that this defensive line group can win you a Super Bowl with how deep they are.
Yeah, and look, if you're Houston and one of your top 2 guys, Hunter or Will Anderson Jr., go down, that it has a chance to fall apart because you just don't have the depth. The Seahawks could, they would definitely be hurting if they lost one of those premier guys, but it wouldn't sink the ship, because they've got guys they can plug in there. And so, that is just one big difference. And look, you've seen how important quality depth is in the secondary. Devin Witherspoon missed 5 games. Julian Love missed, I think it was 8 or 9 games. Nick Emanwari misses 3 games and most of a 4th because of the ankle injury. And yet here they are, allowing the second fewest points of any defense in the NFL. And it just speaks to how deep they are, how good the scheme is, how good the premier players are, and how well they all play together.
It's impressive that we almost forgot that Jaron Reed was out, because now he's back. It was certainly noteworthy when he went out after the Commanders game. You didn't have him against the Rams, and maybe that was the only game where it could have mattered, but not really, because they did a great job shutting down Stafford. So the fact that defensive line, with the production from Byron Murphy, with everyone they're able to slide in, you're like, oh, now Jaron Reed is back. And I think the challenge is almost projecting how much better they can be. Like, what does that look like? How do you balance that playing time? How do you balance snaps for Jaron Reed and Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy when all these guys have been so dominant in one form or another?
Yeah, a couple seasons ago, I think the final season under Pete Carroll, Jaron Reed, I want to say he was playing 50. He was averaging about 50 snaps a game, which is insane.
Wow.
Which is, and I'm going to have to fact check myself on that, because even saying it out loud,
we can go look.
It sounds like there's just no way that was the case. So whatever the number was, I remember it was insane for a defensive tackle who by that point was in his late 20s. And that is one big difference between this defense under Mike Macdonald and Pete Carroll's defense, is just it's a much deeper rotation of defensive linemen. And look, part of that is by design. That's just what Mike Macdonald wants to do. But also part of it is you've got the guys to do it to where you can bring in that, second line of guys, so to speak, and there's not going to be a huge drop-off.
Brady
Am I
Henderson,
right on that?
You are definitely right. You might have even undersold it at one point. So in the finale, he did not play the final game, but in the final game he played in 2023 against Pittsburgh, he played 65 snaps on defense.
That's insane.
And that was on top of 53 the week before, 54, 43, 68 in a game against the Cowboys. Wow, no wonder these guys just didn't have it towards the end of the year. Think about how much fresher they're going to be down the stretch here and in a playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, the hearing back, that is insane to ask a 300-plus pound defensive tackle who, again, by that point was in his late 20s. I mean, even if that's a rookie, you just should not be having a defensive tackle play that much. And I know that, when they were hiring Mike Macdonald and they were talking about, hey, what is this going to look like? And he was able to express how much he prefers a deeper defensive line rotation. I know that was one of many, many, many selling points when the Seahawks hired him.
Yeah, I thought Phillip Rivers at 44 would be the most absurd thing we talked about. But then you threw in that Jaron Reed stat, and I discovered 68 snaps against the Cowboys. So now you've blown my mind here, an hour or two of this show with you. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the good reporter in you there, Brady. Good stuff.
Thank
good
you.
insight
One of
there.
those numbers that has stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wrap it up right now. Show's done because Brady just dropped a mind-boggling fact on you. Now, that's not how it works, but it is a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Plenty more to get to, including the latest injury news in this Seahawks-Colts matchup and some key storylines happening around the NFL. All that coming up next here. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson in Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
Nick Eamon is with us. Can you think back to a game where you had more production?
I think yesterday is probably like the most complete I've played.
This is long before you were born. This is actually when I was playing. 1991, the last time somebody had 2 tackles for loss, a sack, an interception, and a field goal block.
They had told me that stat yesterday. I was pretty amazed by it. It's been a long time, but I'm just grateful and blessed for it to be me.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
College basketball takes center stage in Seattle. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are back, and the rivalry is renewed when the Zags battle UCLA at Climate Pledge Arena on December 13th. Tickets are available now and selling fast. Get yours at climatepledgearena.com. See you on December 13th for Gonzaga Hoops in Seattle.
Get your tickets now for December 13th at climatepledgearena.com. That's climatepledgearena.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
It's here, the Light the World giving machines at the Alderwood and South Hill malls. With a swipe of your credit card, donate a chicken, school supplies, meals, and more. Go to givingmachinewa.org.
As a quarterback, you cannot run a winning play with a messy playbook. And most companies' data, well, it's a mess. AI is changing the game, but if your data is scattered, you're stuck on the sidelines. Brock Heward here, and this is where my friends at Marquee Data come in. They get your data in shape, clean, connected, ready to perform, so you can finally put AI to work for your business. Whether sales, finance, or operations, every smart move starts with the right data. So head to mydataqb.com to draw up your game-winning data play today. That's Marquee Data or mydataqb.com.
Yay to Bruce, the streaming king.
With quantum fiber internet, he's gonna binge.
He wants more, he's got to have more.
More bedtime true crime.
More podcasts in the shower.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi has the power. More fast internet speed.
He's got the gigs to go big. Bring him the game
right now.
And his royal we.
More sports non-stop. His quantum fiber's on top. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service and speed in select locations only.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and if you have joint pain, this will be of interest to you. Wednesday, December 17th, Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is having a free live webinar to talk about stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
What joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Learn more about stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, one of the most experienced in the country with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Go pain-free in 2026. Join his free live stem cell webinar, Wednesday, December 17th. Register at drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Brady, we'll get into some Seahawks Colts injury news in a second. I wanted to start with this. The Thursday night game last night, Bucks Falcons. We already heard from Todd Bowles. He tried to cram as many expletives in 30 seconds as possible. I don't think that's the worst thing he said last night, though. So after the Bucks lost 29-28, blew a 14-point lead. You fall out of first place. Yes, a lot of frustration. But after the game, Todd Bowles kind of put the blame on his players.
At this point, you've seen everything in the season. You know, the coaches have done everything they can do. This is a player-driven team in the last 4 or 5 weeks. You got to execute, and they got to hold each other accountable. As a coach, you can sit there till you blue in the face until they start holding each other accountable and doing the little things right. And that's not everybody. Now, you're talking about a small select few, but the small select few is what's getting us beat. And until that happens, it's not going to get right. So we got to get up and go to work tomorrow. No matter how bad today looks, you got to put it behind you, and we got to win the last 3 games. We know that.
How would you feel about that if you're a Bucks player?
It's fascinating to hear the difference between how some coaches handle situations like that. And I'm sure there's a part of Todd Bowles that says, God, I really don't want to throw my guys under the bus. But then the other side of him says, hey, man, you got to start putting some pressure on some guys and maybe do it publicly if they're not getting the job done. And, guys, you could just tell watching Mike Evans, even before Gonzalez hit that winning field goal, when as Atlanta was getting in position for that kick, see Mike Evans having just a meltdown on the sidelines about how, clearly frustrated with just the fact that Tampa Bay's defense had, and I guess the offense too, of Baker Mayfield through that interception, just them being in that position to, letting a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter slip away like that. So, give credit to Atlanta, man. That's a team that got eliminated from playoff contention when the Seahawks hammered them in their own building a week ago. They come out on a short week on the road and look, far from a clean performance when you talk about 19 penalties. So pretty rough football in that regard. But to overcome that under all those circumstances for a win against a division rival, you got to tip your cap to Raheem Morris.
Yeah, I guess I've never been an NFL coach, so I cannot speak from a coach's perspective, but it sounds like what Todd Bowles said there would be perfect for a locker room. Maybe not to the media, because then that'll filter back to guys, and they start to wonder, hey, why am I being called out like that? If guys need to be called out, do it behind closed doors. I'm sure Mike McDonald calls out guys. We don't hear about it, though, because it doesn't happen out in public. You take care of something that needs to be taken care of, kind of keep it internally. Just kind of, again, really highlights the difference between like a well-run team and a team that seems like it's in the midst of some dysfunction as the Bucs kind of find their season slipping away.
I think, Mike McDonald probably takes his cues from the Harbaugh brothers in that regard. The only two coaches he's worked for were John Harbaugh in Baltimore and Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, and those guys are not one to publicly air their players out like that. It's you criticize them behind the scenes and you defend them publicly, and whatever criticism is very couched and it's very not all that strong. And so I can't imagine Mike McDonald doing that. It's not to say that what Todd Bowles did might not work, might not get the message across a little bit better than just doing it behind the scenes, but it is, again, fascinating to just watch how coaches handle situations differently.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We got a final injury report for the Seahawks in this matchup against the Colts a little bit later this afternoon, but Jalen Sundell was a full participant in practice yesterday, trying to make his way back off IR. And Brady, we did get perhaps an update on Sundell and where he would play if he does return.
We're getting him back into the groove of practice this week. We have two starting centers, in my opinion. We have two starting players that have led our group in an excellent way. So it's a discussion we have to have as coaches.
That's from Clint Kubiak, and he maybe lets slip that they are considering Sundell at center. On the surface, that makes sense because he was their center before he got hurt. There have been those murmurs about, well, did you put him at right guard and keep the continuity at center with Olu and replace Anthony Bradford? But it seems like, hey, if you're going to bring Jalen Sundell back, center feels like the logical choice.
Yeah, what you heard there was a glimpse into this fun game that we play as reporters sometimes where we know
pick everything.
Yeah, no, where we know that a coach is probably not going to give us a direct answer, but we got to ask it anyways in the event that he does. And I think that was partly Clint Kubiak trying to do what Mike McDonald did earlier and avoid the question and not give the opponent any extra information. My guess is that if Sundell does play in this game, it's going to be at center. And, he was a limited participant on Wednesday in his return to practice, and he progressed to a full participant yesterday. We'll see what he does today, but if he does play, I don't think you're going to see them make that move at right guard, at least not this week. Remember, the other side of that is that Anthony Bradford, his inconsistency is the whole reason why this is even a question in the first place of, okay, when Sundell comes back, could you move Sundell to right guard, the spot where he also competed with Bradford over the summer? But the other side of that is Bradford is inconsistent as he's been for a lot of this season. According to Mike McDonald, he was their highest rated offensive lineman against Atlanta. So maybe they consider that move down the road. I don't think it's going to happen this week.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, Brady, and all our listeners, can I take you on a fun journey into the world of college football bowl games?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? So, University of Washington plays in a bowl game tomorrow. They play Boise State in the LA Bowl. Now, first weird part about this, the LA Bowl is going to shut down after tomorrow's game. It is gone defunct. It has become obsolete. They don't have enough money, I guess, to keep going. So Washington is playing in the final version of this game, which began all the way back in 2021. So rip the long-lived LA Bowl. But beyond that, the LA Bowl is hosted by one Rob Gronkowski. So the title sponsor of the LA Bowl this year is officially called the Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk.
Bucked Up.
Bucked Up.
Is that his own company?
How do you not know what Bucked Up is?
I
had to
have no
look it
idea
up,
what
too. It's an energy drink company. Yeah. Shop top-rated pre-workouts, creatine supplements, proteins. You get the picture there. Yeah, Bucked Up. It is, looks like energy drinks and online supplements.
Interesting.
Hosted by Rob Gronkowski.
I do remember the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
That same thing. Yeah, good knowledge there, Brady. That was the first version of the LA Bowl, which has had 4 different sponsors in 5 seasons. It was first the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. The past 3 years, unfortunately, it's been hosted by Gronk. So it's been the Starco Brands LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, the Art of Sport LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, and we send it out with a flourish with this year, the Bucked Up LA Bowl.
Bucked Up, yeah.
Hosted by Gronk.
I remember as a kid, growing up in Seattle, watching UW, even watching Brock Heward. Man, what a strange turn of events. Getting to know Brock Heward, watching him as a kid. Sun Bowl. I remember just being so into UW as a kid and watching UW in the Sun Bowl, in the Holiday Bowl down in San Diego. So I kind of miss the days of the bowls that we all know and love from growing up watching them. It's now the Name Your Celebrity Bowl.
You never had any inkling that one day you might continue to watch them in the Bucked Up LA Bowl?
I cannot have
never the dream of a young kid rooting for UW, or probably for a player playing for UW. But
the Aloha Bowl.
Yes, all that to say they're playing in it tomorrow against Boise State. We had some great suggestions. And chime back in if you want. 866-979-3776. That is everything you need to know, by the way. If you have a better suggestion for a title sponsor for the LA Bowl, we had some pretty good ones earlier today. I'll throw the challenge out there. If you have a funny name suggestion, better than the Gronk whatever it is bowl. So text in. Or you think of one during the break as well, Brady, because we have some more things to do. Brady's going to think of some more bowl names. We're going to come back and dive into the Seahawks offense and what we still might need to see against this Colts team and why a good start and a strong, quick start will be of paramount importance in this game. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Was anyone in any way nervous at the half? I wasn't.
I wasn't worried at all. But, obviously, I do the pre-halftime and post-game shows.
Yeah.
People, I told you, Sam is the same old Sam. The run game.
Like they were texting it or they were showing up?
I'm telling you, the text lines were popping. And it lets me kind of feel what you guys are feeling.
Yeah.
But when they start balling, I need those same people to text in like, actually, I'm good now.
Only on Seattle Sports.
All right, if you are looking to retire one day, it's never too early to start planning. I know I find myself thinking about it a lot. Certainly on days like this where it feels like the rain is never going to stop, I just want to think about how I'm one day going to live somewhere very, very warm in the winter. So you need help with that. I don't know enough about investing, don't know enough about the financial world, and that's why you talk to Trajan Wealth. Their fiduciary advisors can help ensure you feel prepared for the big financial shifts and your future. My friends at Trajan Wealth offer tailored insights and strategies. They are designed specifically for your needs and looking for investors with $500,000 or more in savings, looking for ways to optimize those funds. They'll take the time to determine your risk tolerance level, along with learning about your specific goals and your timeline. Again, they work with you to develop a wealth management plan that reflects your values. Call them today at 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300. Or go to Trajan, Trajan, TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? Well, with Xfinity, you can get reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent gig-speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig-speed Wi-Fi, guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You could save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, and even unlimited data, all included, all at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig internet and AT&T 1000 internet and 1 unlimited starter SL line.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Styles change, 12s grow, but Seahawks love, that's forever. From the young fans in their fresh new jerseys to the lifelong 12s in their throwback jackets. At the Pro Shop, we've got gear for 12s of every age and every walk of life. This is the Pro Shop. Shop official Seahawks gear in-store at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton, or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III! Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. DayandNight.net.
This hour is brought to you by Trajan Wealth Management.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brady, we spent a lot of time, and rightfully so, I think it is the most fascinating storyline in the NFL this season, maybe in a long time, and because it's a guy coming to play the Seahawks, we spent a lot of time talking about 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, and it's kind of taken over as the storyline behind this Seahawks Colts matchup. What we haven't done yet is really look at the other side of the ball in that Colts defense, or I guess for the Seahawks, how they might be able to take advantage. You know what this means? Funny to call him the other quarterback, but the other quarterback in the game, Sam Darnold, who has looked really good at times this year, and then in these last few weeks has had stretches or maybe a quarter or a half or a good chunk of the game where he just hasn't been as solid as he was. He set a high standard. He set a really high standard, MVP-like, towards the start of the year, into early November in that game against the Commanders of what he could do. But since that Commanders game, I was going back and looking. I'm like, I don't think we've seen a complete and total game from Sam Darnold, or else a performance that gives you as much confidence as you had earlier in the season. Not that it's been overly concerning because they have won, except for that game against the Rams. But I just look at this Colts team, 29th in pass defense. Sam Darnold coming off a really good second half. And I'm just wondering, hey, is this the game you think he could put it all together? Or conditions are going to be tough. The Colts, maybe they don't have much offensively, and the Seahawks just play a game where, hey, they're fine with running the ball, putting up enough points to kind of hang on like they did against the Vikings and Titans, where a set score will be without reach for the other team. So I'm curious if we see a more throwback Darnold performance at the start of the year, or if you think this game doesn't necessarily dictate itself to giving him that kind of performance.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see what the weather looks like. This could be, and this is maybe the one way I could see this game still being close, is if the weather is so bad that it just makes offense for both teams hard to come by. But Darnold, I mean, let's talk about Darnold's season, and let's start with the fact that he is 8th in total QBR. And for people who don't know, QBR is a way better measure of a quarterback's performance than passer rating for a number of reasons. One being that it takes situations.
That's an ESPN created metric.
It is, but I would say this regardless of what company I work for. So pay more attention to QBR than to passer rating. It takes into account just way more than passer rating does. So by QBR, he is 8th in the NFL. Now by passer rating, if you want to go off that, he is in the top 10 as well. I think he ranks 5th. But just we'll stick with QBR. It's the better measurement. He's 8th. So everything we're about to get into with Sam Darnold's game, that should be just the overarching. That should be the backdrop of this. Is that you're talking about a guy who is playing at a top 10 level. He's been number 1 in QBR for part of the season. So let's not lose sight of that as we dig into some of the flaws in his game this season. He also leads the NFL in turnovers. Now that includes it includes 11 interceptions and the 5 lost fumbles. Now the fumbles, there's been some that he has fumbled but hasn't lost. So the fumbles have sort of been an issue. I remember talking to Mike and Brock a week or so ago about how that's maybe not as big of a concern when you look at some of the individual fumbles, right? One was on a botched exchange. 3 of them happened while he's literally in his windup getting hit. And I don't think a quarterback on the planet who's going to avoid fumbling the ball in that situation. The bigger issue is the interceptions. 11 interceptions, and 4 of them obviously came in that game against the Rams in November. And as I've watched him since then, it's felt like you're watching a quarterback who is determined to not tamp down the aggressiveness. And after throwing 4 picks to your division rival in a loss like that, you could easily see it going the other way, where the guy all of a sudden becomes pretty conservative. And on some levels, you don't want your quarterback to do that. You don't want him to turn into check down Charlie because he's so terrified of throwing an interception. So some of that aggressiveness that you've seen him play with since then is a good thing. I just still think there's spots where you just don't need it. Like that interception he threw against Atlanta, it's like 2nd and 1 from the 19, and he's rolling to his left on I can't remember if that was a scramble or a designed rollout, but he's rolling to his left, and he tries to kind of force a ball in that second level to Elijah Arroyo, and that's a hard throw to begin with, whether it's a tight window or not. We've seen him pull that throw off many times this season. Some of his best moments have come when he's throwing on the run. It's something he's really good at, and why he was among the reasons why he was a really good fit for this offense, which naturally gets the quarterback outside the pocket on designed rollouts and asks them to throw on the run. We've seen a lot of good plays by him. That was a bad play. Elijah Arroyo was not open, and there was Ken Walker sitting there, beyond the first down marker for an easy completion. Whether or not he could have run for it is another story. I don't know that. He may not have beaten the defenders, but you got the easy completion there. I think, as good as that aggressiveness is at times, he's I would say overly aggressive at times, and maybe he knows in a game like that, look, you got one of the best defenses in the NFL. You could maybe afford to take some risks. You could also look at that and say you don't need to take those risks because you don't need to score 25 points every game. You can get by with not taking some of those chances.
I guess what I hope in the context of not just this game, but because the Rams game looms so close after, I cannot extricate just this Colts game. It's not one game, then the next. I have tied these two together because it's such a short turnaround, and that Rams game is so important. It could define the entire season, 1 seed to 5 seed. We know how important that is. We know the difference between those two. So with that in mind, I guess against this team, the Colts being as bad as we think they would be with so many questions at offense, I want to see the Seahawks offense that put up those 35 points against the Cardinals and against the Commanders and against the Saints and just bludgeon those teams early. Where if you get to the mid-third quarter and it's still a comfortable 42-3, you can rest all these guys. To know that your quarterback and your offense can do that against an inferior opponent, it was a little surprising. They didn't do it against the Falcons. They did in the second half, but the fact that it was such a slog early on was a bit of a concern. But then you look at the totality of the game, it's like, all right, well, they won handily. But in this case, because of how much weight I think is attached to a game that has such a quick turnaround, I almost feel like you're doing yourselves a disservice if you don't blow this team out early.
Well, that would be best case scenario, right? With the quick turnaround to a Thursday game. There was a similar situation in September. Remember, they blew out New Orleans in week 3.
The Cardinals game.
Yeah, and they had the Cardinals game, 4 days later in Glendale. And, because that game was wrapped up as early as it was, it gave them a chance to pull some of their starters in the fourth quarter and, take, a dozen or so plays, off of them, and which was pretty big when you consider you had a division game 4 days later. So, yeah, in best case scenario is that they're able to do that again. I keep going back to the weather because the weather has a chance to be maybe not an equalizer, but it has a chance to just keep scoring down in this game to where it doesn't become a blowout. We'll see what it looks like Sunday.
And you think that could help the Colts a bit because of how they like to run the ball? I mean, yeah, we saw around the NFL this past weekend games in Florida. It just looked terrible. The conditions in Tampa and in Jacksonville, the Colts played in that condition in Jacksonville, and then in Cleveland with the Browns and the Titans, where it was sleeting and snowing and raining at times. So with that, I guess because the Colts are going to run the ball because they have a great running back, is that where you think, all right, this might be the one X factor where now Indy kind of is hanging around. And it might be 10 to 14 points in terms of hanging around, but instead of the Seahawks are just going to have a scoring fest and put them away early.
Yeah, close enough to where the game is not like, we've seen Seahawks games this season where it's over by halftime.
Yeah, I think of that Saints game where it felt like they could have named their score.
Yeah, and I would say maybe even the Washington game.
That's true, yeah.
And the Arizona game, when they had the 2 defensive touchdowns by DeMarcus Lawrence. So, yeah, that is best case scenario. You never can count on blowouts in the NFL. And look, I've covered this league long enough. You've watched it long enough and talked about it long enough to know that, like, even when every bit of just logic tells you that the game is going to go one way, it sometimes goes the other way. And so, it would be totally fitting too if, it's each team scores 25 points and it's actually maybe not a shootout, but like way more offense than you would expect under the circumstances.
Brady, I want to take a look and get your opinion on some of these things with the offense with Elijah Arroyo. And then I'm going to draw a parallel here that I don't know if it exists, but Torrey Horton got hurt after that Commanders game. And in that game, he had 2 touchdowns on 4 receptions. He has 5 receiving touchdowns this year. The Sam Darnold fall off in terms of how effective he was, how crisp he was, his efficiency was at its peak in that Commanders game. And has since tailed off a bit. Could be competition, could be teams, figuring him out. And he played defenses in the Vikings and Falcons that do have that high pressure rate and like to show blitzes. But do you think there's anything to be said about Torrey Horton not being there and now this lack of that receiving option or deep threat that really hadn't emerged until Shaheed got there? Or am I just trying to draw a string to something that doesn't exist?
Yeah, well, it's logical to try to find, reasons for something and to try to point to, hey, this happened and draw a connection between the timing. I think that Washington defense is
just that bad.
Yeah, just not very good. I mean, they're sort of middle of the pack, I guess. But, yeah, I think it has more to do with just the individual games and the situations. That said, I mean, Torrey Horton was having a really good rookie season. And if you were to make a baseball analogy, I would say his slugging percentage was pretty high. When you talk about the number of touchdown catches he has compared to catches overall, he is making his catches count. And but he went on IR with the shin injury, and that Rashid Shaheed trade turned out to be pretty timely, right? When you consider that right after they make that trade, or I guess he suffered the injury. I don't know if they knew exactly how severe the injury would be. I want to say it happened in the Washington game, and then they trade for Rashid Shaheed a couple days later. And it turns out they really need him to step in right away. So, yeah, Torrey Horton, we'll see when he gets back, and we'll see if he can stay healthy when he does come back. I got to imagine that just the durability concerns with him and knowing how he's not the most well-built guy. He's not a small guy per se. He's just kind of, smaller frame.
It's not muscular like you or Lyle.
Yeah, he's just kind of a I don't know what the best way to describe it is. He's not like the bulkiest guy, right? So, and you had the college knee injury, so you got to wonder about just the durability and his ability to hold up. And I have to imagine that was another part of the motivation for trading for Rashid Heed, in addition to getting a guy who is one of the premier deep threats in the NFL. And Torrey Horton has shown that he's pretty fast, but Shaheed is on a different level.
Are you concerned at all about Elijah Arroyo's durability? Because he is on the injury report now with a knee injury. He has not practiced this week. The one issue, this is this one-time thing this season so far, but in college, we heard about that extensive injury history that might have dropped him a little bit in terms of pure talent, dropped all the way to 50. There's an extensive history of knee injuries there. When you hear knee, I just always get a little hesitant because of those things popping up again. And it just seems like, unfortunately, when a guy has a history of knee injuries, they find a way of just coming back up there. Now you see him pop up there, knee injury this week. Another thing where I'm like, well, because that was an issue in college, I just wonder if that could be a concern now moving forward.
Yeah, that didn't really he did. You're right. He did have the injury in college, which probably dropped him to the second round where the Seahawks got him. I didn't make that connection early on. I don't know if it's the same knee or if the injuries are related at all. But, up to this point, he has been pretty healthy, and the durability has not really been an issue for him. So, yeah, we'll see, when he gets back. Mike Macdonald has stopped short of ruling him out this week, but it doesn't sound like he's going to play. He has yet to practice this week. Macdonald said at the start of the week that his status was going to be in jeopardy for this Indianapolis game.
Yeah, take off your reporter hat for a second. So just logically, right? When guys don't practice, thank you. For people not watching, Brady has taken it off. For guys that don't usually practice the first 2 days, unlikely that they'll play in the game, right?
Yeah, no.
Or has it changed?
Sometimes.
Under this coaching staff, it feels like if they haven't practiced, they don't usually play. Or am I drawing a broad?
Yeah, some, every now and again you'll see a guy pop back up on Friday. There are some guys who could conceivably, some veteran guys who conceivably could not practice all week, just because they're trying to preserve them for game day and go, but probably not going to happen with a rookie like Arroyo.
Okay, so we'll monitor that. Elijah Arroyo is the one guy in the injury report. Again, the final injury report comes out a little bit later this afternoon. You'll have the game statuses for the Seahawks matchup against the Colts on Sunday. Right now, we're going to move a little bit away from just this matchup, broaden it out to the rest of the NFL, and do some buy and sell. Anything with those two?
Well, buy or sell. You have to pick one.
Buy or sell.
Buy or sell. Now,
no, I like to win, so I'm going to do both.
Now, also on my list of demands for hosting today, in addition to talking to Stephen Holder, my guy out in Indianapolis, was that you, Mike Lefko, whenever something is sold, you have to imitate Brock, and you have to do you have to sing along to the little.
What does he do?
When I play this.
Lady in the second row. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Brock sings.
Brock's a little too corny for most of what he does for me to replicate.
Yeah.
So
on second thought, I don't want to hear that. So,
yeah. Hey, why not get away from that? Brock's not here. We don't have to hear all the corniness for today. So, we'll have a nice version of buy or sell. The more fun game than buy and sell. So, all right, Maura, let's start. What's up first with buy or sell?
All right, first up. Buy or sell, the Niners game, Week 18, will be tougher than the Rams game next Thursday for the Seahawks.
I'm going to sell that now.
Sold in the back row.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to jump in there. I'm going to sell that.
Sold. No.
Yeah, no, I know that the 49ers did beat the Seahawks in Week 1, and I also know that they have lost a lot of firepower on defense. And the guy who won that game for San Francisco with a strip sack of Sam Darnold when he beat Abe Lucas off the edge, Nick Bosa, no longer playing. And it's amazing what San Francisco has still been able to do despite not having Bosa, despite not having Fred Warner. Mac Jones kept the season afloat when Brock Purdy was out. But, I think part of the reason why they've stayed in it, in addition to really good coaching job by Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, is they have not faced top-tier quarterbacks. So they've been sort of feasting on some below-average quarterbacks. And I think that when it comes to playoff time and late in the season, probably going to catch up to them. So, you tip your cap to them for what they've been able to do despite all the injuries they've suffered. But I think this Rams game is going to be tougher than the 49ers game.
Yeah, does this feel like one of the more under-the-radar Niners teams that we've encountered? Just because the Seahawks played them so early, They got hurt. The Rams were ascendant. I kind of forgot that the Niners were right there in the midst of this, and then here they are at 9-4. I guess, honestly, I did not realize they were that close. I knew they were having a good season again, but until you looked at the standings last week, it's like, oh, wait, the Niners, you beat the Seahawks, you're in great shape. I've been very surprised with this team. But again, along your lines, I'm going to sell that as well.
Sold in the back row.
Because of what this Rams game means. And I think just the basic nature of it's 3 days of rest between games. You have 4 days between games. That's going to be tough. And then the Rams are coming in where they feel like, hey, maybe they left some meat on the bone as well. We were coming out of that game talking about how impressive the Seahawks defense was and how you feel like it was almost a win because if you don't have 4 interceptions, you probably win that game. I think on the other side, the Rams are feeling the same way. Hey, if Matt Stafford doesn't have his worst game of the season, hey, if Devontae Adams doesn't have just one catch, if they play better, if he doesn't drop passes, the Rams are feeling a lot better, and they look like the best team in the NFC. So, yeah, I think Rams game will be the toughest one.
Yeah, and the Rams have the Lions coming up this weekend, but then they close out after that Seahawks game in Week 16. They close out against the Falcons and Cardinals. So you got to imagine they're going to win those games. So if the Seahawks lose for a second time to the Rams, now all of a sudden they have to they can't tie them in the standings. They have to finish with one more win than them. It's going to be hard to do when you consider the Rams' closing schedule.
All right, next up. The Chiefs' dynasty is over, as Brock proclaimed to Jeff Passan earlier this week.
It
Buy or
is
sell?
over. It's over. It's over. Okay. I'm buying it. Now, there's a bit of qualifier here. The Chiefs' dynasty, as we know it, is over. Okay? Your championship window in the NFL is open as long as you have a franchise quarterback. And they have what might go down as the greatest quarterback ever. We'll see if he can catch Tom Brady, but the window is going to open back up.
Sounds like Brady's buying and selling. That's what I tried to do.
Maybe I'm buying and selling. I'm buying and then selling it back for a bigger profit. Look, the dynasty as we know it is no longer when you consider that Kelsey is 36 years old, whatever he is, maybe in his last season. Chris Jones is getting up there in age. This is one play out of however many defensive plays they'll have this season. Really did not like the effort that Chris Jones showed in that, I think it was a Monday night game when he just basically let Trevor Lawrence go into the end zone for the winning touchdown there. And that, again, one play, I don't want to make too much of it, but that struck me as, is it hard? Are some guys in that locker room maybe less hungry, having reached the mountaintop 3 times in their career? Like, does your motivation to get back up there wane when you've already done it? So, again, one play, maybe it was just a bad moment for Chris Jones, but it did make me wonder about, does that team have the same edge that it used to have?
I will sell on this.
Sold in the back row.
This year it's certainly over, but the dynasty comprises many years. And I think to the Patriots run where it seemed like, all right, well, that was it. And then they had that second wave and that surge toward the end of Brady's career. And you look back, all right, is that the totality, all-encompassing Patriots? And I think with how not bad, but how average the AFC is, maybe it's just this year where everyone's hurt, but it just feels like the AFC is there for the taking. They're kind of in between right now where no team has stepped into the void left by the Chiefs and has taken over. I mean, the Broncos and Patriots are the best teams in the NFL, in the AFC right now, and they have second-year quarterbacks, and you could say there are a lot of questions behind those teams. So the Chiefs, you almost have to cycle out some of that residual from this first 3 years here. And then maybe you reset, you have young guys on defense, you build again around Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey's going to retire. Chris Jones maybe gets a wake-up call, or maybe they soon move on for him. But because of Mahomes and everything you were kind of alluding to when you were almost selling again, they're going to be in contention in the AFC for a handful of years to come.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to walk all over the AFC West.
I mean, I think they're going to get back to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that division is going to be tougher to get out of than it was. I mean, Denver,
I don't trust
11
the Chargers.
and 2. Yeah, you can quibble with
Denver, maybe. The Chargers have been supposed to be the thing for, 3 or 4 years? Justin Herbert's supposed to be the guy.
Yeah, they're 9 and 4.
He's never been it.
They are 9 and 4 right now.
That's okay. It's all right. It's going to be tough, but I don't think the Chiefs are done yet. They will not be far and away the walk to 7 straight AFC title games.
Yeah.
But it does feel like the Patriots, where you might have a couple down years and then maybe another surge of 2 to 3 Super Bowl appearances in them.
Yeah, it's not going to be the just the annual Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Which that would be good. You need some new blood in there. But I don't think not dead yet, Brady. Not dead yet.
Buy or sell, Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon is the next head coach fired.
I'm going to let you take this one first.
I would have said buy until last night, so I'm going sell.
Sold in the back row.
Because of Todd Bowles losing that locker room, I think.
Todd Bowles is not going to get fired.
Todd Bowles is going to get fired.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's going to get fired.
No.
Why
You've
would you
got
keep
Zach
him?
Taylor, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, well, again, a lot of guys that might get fired before Jonathan Gannon, but I mean, hey, if you lost the locker room there, maybe you get fired. The Bucs, they lost a chance to really solidify this division. But yes, great point, Maura. Pete Carroll.
Kevin Stefanski.
Pete Carroll is probably the first coach fired, unfortunately, because no one's firing a coach now until the season ends. There's 4 weeks left, and when the season ends, that whole wave. I don't really know what to make of the Cardinals. If they move on from Kyler Murray, you're going to do so with another head coach as well. Like you bring in coach and quarterback together. I think Gannon's done a pretty solid job with the defense. He is a defensive-minded guy. So I think there are others who are more likely to get fired, especially immediately. So, yeah, I'll sell that.
Well, yeah, and the other question is what happens with Kyler Murray? Because if you move on from Murray, what's happening with Kyler Murray seems like it might be the same thing that happened with Derek Carr in New Orleans a few years ago, with Russell Wilson 2 years ago with Daniel Jones, where they try to sit the guy in order to avoid him getting an injury that would lock in a bunch of injury guarantees for the future, for the following year. So if they are intent on moving on from Kyler Murray, then maybe there is motivation to, you're going to be drafting a quarterback. Maybe you want to pair that quarterback with an offensive-minded head coach who's going to get the most out of that quarterback. I mean, we're maybe putting the cart before the horse here, but I never have given you a buy or sell yet. I'm gonna say I'll buy it.
All right,
I'll buy that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll have to come back and see who won in the future, because everything's always a competition with me, Brady. If you haven't learned, Maura has pointed that out a few times. If you're not playing to win, what are you playing for? So.
Well, because whose shoes? I'm like, you literally just say whose shoes you'd rather be in, and he's like, but how do you win?
Yeah, because whose shoes would you rather be in more? There's got to be some kind of gauge of who wins and who didn't have the best answer. I don't know. Someone mark it up in the unofficial scoreboard.
I mean, part of the reason I'm buying this is because not only are they bad, but they're not competitive, and they've been uncompetitive in some division game. Really, most of their division games. Lost by 22 points to the Seahawks. They lost by 19 points to the 49ers, and then last week got blown out 45-17 by the Rams. That's the kind of thing that probably, I would imagine, if you're an owner, irks you even more, is that not only are you losing, but you're not even competitive, and you're getting blown out by your division rivals. That's the thing that is going to hasten a coach's exit.
Yeah. Well, we will see. The Cardinals are a confusing team, certainly, and they have not been competitive in what has been a very good division overall. Speaking of that, in that division, the Seahawks, maybe one aspect of their team is still, if it's possible, it's still going under the radar. We're going to get to a conversation that Brock and Salk had earlier in the week and kind of dissect that as we move forward into this Seahawks-Colts matchup. Brady Henderson, Mike Lefko with you here on Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob.
Devin Witherspoon has been fantastic this year.
Every afternoon at 2.
He interviews like he plays. Energy. Yeah.
We just need a blade of grass. Give us a blade of grass, bro. That's all we need.
Like when people try to block him, it's like trying to block water. Yeah. I mean, he just is all over the place. His feet are phenomenal, and then you hear the energy there. So just the tempo of his voice and the way he talks, like, can you imagine you got a guy like that on the field?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Bump here. Seattle Youth Men's Basketball is hosting big games at Climate Pledge. Come see Washington State, and Gonzaga. Next game is December 19th against UW. Tickets as low as $20. Grab your tickets at goseattleu.com/tickets. Red Hawks rising.
Hey, Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, and obviously New Year's is coming up. Can you believe it? Book your stay at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel for an evening of elegance at a night at the Grand Ball. This New Year's Eve celebration includes the legendary DJ Super Sam. And sports fans, you got to check out the Hawks Peak. You're home for game days with great food and drinks, more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play, and a heated, covered outdoor deck with those great views of the Snoqualmie Valley. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! Well, hello. You get Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson in with you today. Been a fun show. If you've been with us since the start, if you're just joining us, welcome. Still have a lot coming up before we turn you over to Bump and Stacy, and then Wyman and Bob, and then Seahawks Colts on Sunday. So at 9:45, Brady, we have Answer the Question Jerk, or as people kind of shorten it now, ATQJ.
Oh.
That's how you know it's a popular segment. You know, when you shorten it to the acronym and you just kind of refer to it as the acronym, you know you have a solid thing. Like whether it's a TV show, people refer to that, or the Legion of Boom is just the LOB. JSN, right.
MVS.
Him Yim, How I Met Your Mother. That's kind of, everyone refers to it as that now. So
Didn't know that.
Oh, don't tell me. That drew a blank stare. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't watch.
Oh, no. Brady, one of the greatest comedies ever.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
really
bad weather. Watch it sometime.
Okay.
We'll discuss at that point. But yes, answer the question, jerk. ATQJ, as those who text in 866-979-3776. We'll get to those questions at 9:45. But right now, let's do something that you guys like to do here at the end of the week. It's For You in Review.
Brock and Salk present For You in Review.
Time for our weekly chat with Jeff Passan from ESPN. We've got Joel Clack. Good morning, Joel.
Let's talk to Coach McDonald.
This is For You in Review, brought to you by the Seattle Sports YouTube page, where you can find the full version of every interview.
Yeah, go check out the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can find conversations that Brock and Salk had, like with Daniel Jeremiah and with Mike McDonald, his weekly conversation on Mondays. How about a little Brady Henderson plug? You can also find Brady Henderson's conversation with Wyman and Bob from yesterday on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
That's right.
There you go. Go check that out. But this is one thing, Brady, that Daniel Jeremiah told Brock and Salk yesterday that, hey, with Phillip Rivers, and we've speculated and we've kind of laughed about what to expect. Daniel Jeremiah thinks there are just one of two ways this could go, and it's only the extreme versions in either case.
Oh, he's going to be better than him.
And
he's you watch, like, even as great as the Seattle front is, they'll pop a run because he'll see something early, which he's really, really good at. He'll get him in the right check, the right call, and they'll probably catch a run here or there because of his brain. So that'll be kind of an underrated aspect of having him in there. But I did hear yesterday they practiced really well, threw the ball well. So it's going to be awesome. Like, I was talking to somebody and they said this is going to be like it's going to be a Disney movie or it's going to be like a horror flick. Like, there's no in between.
Is that fair? I mean, is it, hey, he might do some things to help the Colts where maybe Riley Leonard, having not as much experience and just in his first season in the league, might not be able to do, but also I think we've gone to the side of horror film. This man might get hurt. He might get crushed by an on-rushing Devin Witherspoon. He might pull something because he's 44 years old and not in football shape. It's going to be fascinating to see how this goes.
Yeah, and I think that's why if you're Indianapolis, the game plan has to be like, how do you minimize the possibility for disaster as much as possible, right? And like, you're not going to have Clint Kubiak. You're not going to have Phillip Rivers sitting back there taking 7-step drops and just letting, Seattle's defensive line tee off on him and chase him all around the field. I imagine this is going to be a game plan centered around getting the ball out of his hands, feeding the ball to Jonathan Taylor, whether it's handing the ball off to him or using him in the screen game. He's an excellent receiver out of the backfield, one of many things he does well. So if the Colts are going to have any chance of even keeping this game competitive, it's going to be sort of minimizing Rivers' impact on the game and letting that offense go through Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I've said it, Jonathan Taylor might touch the ball 35 times, 40 times in this game between carrying it and rushing it. It would not surprise me. You just cannot have Rivers sitting back there. I mean, as he said, he's never been a guy who's going to run away from any defender. That's certainly not going to happen under these circumstances. And so, and then again, the weather, as we all know, it's been horrible in Seattle. There's more rain in the forecast for Sunday. So that just could be one more reason why, if you're Indianapolis, you have got to hammer the run and, give Rivers some easy completions that get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, along those lines, everything you just outlined there, Daniel Jeremiah also said that he thinks this game will be closer than a lot of people are making it out to be.
The line, I think, is 14 points on this game, and I know everybody's just said this is there's no chance. 5 years he hasn't played football, and I'm like, I saw this team. They have a lot of good players on that football team.
So maybe all of that leading into it. I did like what Leonard Williams said the other day about respecting how well the Colts start, understanding that they're good at getting into manageable situations, second and short, third and short, and then fast starts as well. So I think as much as we kind of laugh and minimize and downplay, Phillip Rivers, this Colts team, not very good, seems like the Seahawks are aware of what the Colts do well offensively and what could still be a challenge.
Yeah, I could see the only way I see this game getting close is if the weather is really bad and it just keeps offense down in general, right? Where it just makes it hard to move the ball through the air. And then maybe there's a situation where, the Seahawks are in complete control of the game and they let kind of some garbage time scores happen, kind of like what happened a couple weeks ago in Nashville when it ended up being a one-score game. And the Seahawks actually had to survive an onside kick at the very end. But, that game wasn't quite as close as the final score indicated because it was clear for the first, 55 minutes or so, Seahawks were in complete control. And, they did let Tennessee find the end zone, but that was, by that point, the game was pretty much decided and they had kind of let their foot off the gas. So that's the only way I see this game, being within one score is if it kind of follows a similar pattern as the Tennessee game.
So the Daniel Jeremiah interview was yesterday with Brock and Salk. Usually on Tuesdays, that video is up on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, as is the weekly conversation with Mike McDonald. He joins them after every game, the day after every game. So sometimes, like next week, that'll be Friday. It will still be on Monday. You get double Mike McDonald this upcoming week. But on Monday, he had a nice breakdown with these guys about Devin Witherspoon and a couple plays that really stood out about Witherspoon on Sunday.
There's a couple plays that I'm thinking off the top of my head where he understands route stems, denies, the first cut for Cousins, and he either has to dirt the ball or he's going to throw it away or go to his next read. So just like high-level stuff. And then the interception he made, I think, is just a great microcosm of his game. Just, we're bluffing a blitz, and he understands what some of their zero answers are and anticipated the play, and then just the competitive nature of, attacking the football and just kind of like ball finds energy, the most active player on that play ended up with the football. And it's funny how that works out. So.
Brady, I've been guilty of being so enthralled by Nicky Manwari at times that I have forgotten that, yeah, Devin Witherspoon is really, really good, and he can do things exactly like McDonald just broke down.
Yeah, and what you hear there from McDonald is what you hear a lot whenever he talks about Devin Witherspoon is there is just a deep affinity for Devin Witherspoon's game from the head coach. And, he even going into that game, someone asked McDonald about the question was something along the lines of how Witherspoon is playing despite the stats not really being there. He did not have an interception going into that game. It's not like nearly the factor as a blitzer that he was as a rookie. And McDonald said, look, this guy is playing great football. And he repeated that word great for emphasis, even if the stats don't show it. And look, he filled up the stat sheet in that game with the interception. He had the pass breakup that, deflected the throw that Nicky Manwari picked off. He recovered the fumble, had a bunch of tackles. So he actually did fill up the stat sheet, but that was the first time he's really shown up in that way. But even he had, impacted that game even on plays that didn't really show up in the stat sheet. I'm thinking of one where he sheds the block and, on the perimeter and makes a tackle. I can't remember if it was a screen or if it was a carry to the outside, but when you watch him, you see a guy who kind of plays way beyond his playing weight. I mean, he's 185 pounds. And you look at the way how physical he plays, he sort of plays more like a safety or a linebacker. And it's easy to forget that this guy, does not even probably weigh 200 pounds. He just plays so physical. So all those reasons and what you hear Mike McDonald, when you hear like how much admiration he has for Witherspoon's game, you're talking about the reason why this guy is probably going to get a boatload of money from the Seahawks this offseason.
That is For You in Review. All these interviews up on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. If you want to watch them as well, you can always listen on our podcast page, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our Seattle Sports app, wherever you get your podcasts. So all of that you can go back and listen to. But coming up next, we'll get you everything you need to know about the injury status of some key players for the Seahawks and the Colts. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
How will the offense get even better?
Once Torrey Horton gets back, this offense can be even better. Imagine him in this offense. That third receiver has kind of been missing. Granted, there's a lot of 2 receiver combinations out there that do play with a couple of tight ends at times. And that's what's exciting about this team on both sides of the football is that offense is great, defense is great, and you still haven't had these big performances from guys who are more than capable of doing it.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Guys, if you're worn down, putting on weight, dealing with low T symptoms, or ED, something's off. Ignoring symptoms doesn't fix the real issue. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels. A $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. The key areas that reveal what's driving low T, ED, and more. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. This gives you a clear answer on what's off and the steps to improve it. Over 120,000 patients have trusted Revive since 2011 because the results are real. Claim your free full diagnostic panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's here, the Light the World giving machines at the Alderwood and South Hill malls. With a swipe of your credit card, donate a chicken, school supplies, meals, and more. Go to givingmachinewa.org.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, a full sports book and bar, over 1,000 top-rated slots and table games, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
It's Toyota-thon. Toyota of Kirkland
Kirkland and Toyota Renton are providing you with large savings and the widest selection of inventory on Toyota favorites like the 2026 Corolla LE, leasing at $219 a month for 39 months with $29.99 due at signing. The Camry LE at 4.99% APR for 72 months, and the Prius leasing at $305 a month for 36 months with $29.99 due at signing. It's Toyota-thon at ToyotaKirkland.com and ToyotaRenton.com. Whether you're in the North or the South, they got you covered.
Offers valid till January 5th, 2026. Excludes taxes, titles, licenses, dealer accessories, and a $200 negotiable dealer documentation fee. Models 1-852-255-1263.
O'Brien. Shane Graphics reminds listeners many uniformed personnel and healthcare providers will spend this holiday season working hard to keep us safe. These heroic men and women spend long hours away from home, protecting our freedom and providing critical medical care. Please thank them for their many sacrifices and putting their lives on the line for us every day. Happy holidays to you and yours from the entire team at Shane Graphics. Ideas transformed with precision and innovation. Family owned for 65 years. Online at shanegraphics.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Good news on the injury front for the Seahawks coming out of yesterday's practice. Jalen Sundell was a full participant in practice as he tries to make his way back from the knee injury that kept him on IR. We'll get the final updates later this afternoon. Brady will be down there to get the word from Mike McDonald. But Brady, when you look at Sundell, you expect him to be back? Where do you think he might slot in when he returns?
Yeah, I'm not ready to fully say with complete confidence that he's going to play, but he did progress to a full participant on Thursday after he was limited in his first practice back on Wednesday. So looks like he's trending in the right direction towards playing on Sunday. We'll see what happens today. We'll see what Mike McDonald says when we talk to him in a couple hours. But, the other question of this, in addition to is he going to play, is where he's going to play. And, there has been some thought that maybe the Seahawks would consider moving him to right guard, just given how inconsistent Anthony Bradford has been this season. But, one note there, and, we didn't play the sound, but you heard me quote Mike McDonald saying earlier this week that Bradford was their highest graded offensive lineman versus Atlanta. So if they had maybe thought about that, McDonald did maybe sound open to that possibility when we asked him a couple weeks ago, but my guess is it does not happen this week.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks-Rams next Thursday, but quite the lead up to that this past Thursday. So last night, the Bucs blew a 14-point fourth quarter lead and lost to the Falcons 29-28. They fell out of first place in the NFC South in the process, and after the game, Todd Bowles just kind of frustrated, and, well, he doesn't sound frustrated, but the words he uses are ones of frustration when asked what he'll tell his players in the locker room.
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where it hurts. You got to care enough where it hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. That's for no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
Brady, I counted 10.
10
bleeps I had to make this morning as I listened about 15 times to make sure I got all of those.
That was just in that one cut alone.
That was just in the 30 seconds of him answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe some more swear words elsewhere in that post-game press conference. And you can understand the frustration, man. This is a team that is fighting to win the NFC South. They play a team that got blown out by Seattle at home, and they blow a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter to a team that committed 19 penalties for 125 yards.
He sounds so casual, though.
Yeah,
that's what's that dichotomy is throwing me off. That all of those expletives usually are when you're fired up, and especially after a loss like that. Like, yeah, he's going to be fired up. He's going to be angry. Moore and I compared it to Dennis Green and his infamous, we let him off the hook.
Yeah.
And that's, they are who we thought they are with the Bears after the Cardinals blew that game years ago. But Todd Bowles is just calm. He's just kind of having a casual conversation.
If you watch him on the sideline, man, he has got to be the least animated coach in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Just never seems like he is high or low. So, yeah, I guess, the frustration makes sense after a performance like that, but also the delivery and the way he does it kind of in a monotone fashion also makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Here's some college football news. Bill Belichick, his girlfriend, or whoever is in charge at North Carolina, they fired former Browns head coach Freddie Kitchens. He had been the offensive coordinator. So what a journey for him, and what a chaotic scene at North Carolina there. 1 year, Bill Belichick making some widespread staff changes. And then tomorrow, It is the last edition of the long-running, this 5-year, how life-changing it's been having the LA Bowl. Washington, University of Washington playing Boise State down there at SoFi in the... Do you remember the sponsor name, Brady? All right, here's a test. Everyone listening, do you remember the sponsorship name of this bowl game that's been going on, that Washington is playing Boise State tomorrow in the final edition of the...
It was Bucked Up something or other.
There
It's
you
like
go.
an energy drink or something.
Bucked Up LA Bowl, presented by Rob Gronkowski.
Presented by
Presented. Yeah. That really completes the whole picture there. So bowl season underway. We don't have to get into the conversation behind the bowls and whether they're becoming obsolete, because that conversation really kind of already happened after the college football playoff selection. But we'll see what happens, the way coaches leave teams now, the way these bowls have seen teams back out. Notre Dame refusing to play in a bowl game. A number of other schools declined bowl invites as well. So, yes, just to sum up the absurdity of all this, Washington does play in a bowl game tomorrow against Boise State in the final edition of the often name-changing LA Bowl that is now officially the Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk.
College football is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and I can
that's
say
the way
this
to put
as
it.
somebody
Yeah.
who is just not a college football fan. Like, the school I went to, they no longer have a football program. It was never a big deal when it was there, and that's why it left. So I'm speaking from, like, just removed from, like, the passion of college football. It's ridiculous. To me, it's unwatchable.
Even if you are in it, I love college football. It's gotten ridiculous.
That's absurd.
So, yes, for the people that aren't even interested, I can't imagine the casual fan has stayed interested in college football.
Yeah, and the moment you have success, unless you're one of the 2 or 3 best programs in the country, you got to worry about losing your coach. You're worried about losing your best players to some other team that's going to give them more money. And what are we doing?
I don't know.
This is why
we'll see it exist in 5 years.
Yeah, in addition to, being in the air half of the Saturdays during the fall, this is why I'm on the golf course and not in front of a TV watching college football. It's unwatchable.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
All right. Well, good rant there on college football. And the state of college football, summed up by Brady Henderson and the absurdity of it. That is everything you need to know. We will come back and get your questions. Answer the questions you're coming up at 9:45. So keep submitting those, 866-979-3776. And then also take a look at this shifting NFC playoff picture. Got some upheaval, and it's going to affect the Seahawks. We'll dive into that and much more. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Was anyone in any way nervous at the half? I wasn't.
I wasn't worried at all. But obviously, I do the pre-halftime and post-game shows.
Yeah.
People I told you, Sam is the same old Sam. The run game.
Like they were texting it or they were
I'm
showing
telling
up?
you, the text lines were popping. And it lets me kind of feel what you guys are feeling.
Yeah.
But when they start balling, I need those same people to text in like, actually, I'm good now.
Only on Seattle Sports.
All right, we're getting close to this big game and getting an opportunity to watch a 44-year-old out there. Do you know where you're watching the game? Well, if you don't have tickets, how about heading to Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel? An unforgettable experience, and you can stay the night as well. The new hotel is just tremendous. Love the sports bar with 60-plus televisions, great food, awesome spot to watch the game, and do all the fun stuff that comes with it at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You want more details? Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Big Trees has certified arborists and site experts who help you select the right trees for the right location on your property. When Big Trees installs a tree, we offer a 1-year warranty and 1 free aftercare visit from a board-certified master arborist. To learn more about our process, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. DayandNight.net.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It is a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. We got Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here with you. So if you're submitting questions for Answer the Question Jerk, 866-979-3776, which we're going to do in about 15 minutes at 9:45, you can tailor them specifically to me. I've seen a couple that way. Or to Brady. You could ask something golf related. You could ask like, hey, are you better at golf than Brian Walters, who's playing in like some professional golf tournament this weekend?
I can answer that one right now. No, I'm not.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you'd kind of.
I've never played with Brian,
okay.
but I've heard through the grapevine that he is a really, really good player. And if he's playing in whatever.
Have you heard about what he's doing? It's some. He'll have to explain it better. It's some like invite only former athlete tournament. Like all these professional athletes have teamed up, and it's this big multi-day thing. A lot of money on the line.
How much
and you
are we
had to be
talking?
like I don't want to say this 'cause I feel like it's not correct. And this might be the total purse. I think he said $500,000.
Wow.
And I'm sure that gets divvied up some way. We will get him back on one of these shows when he gets back from this weekend of golfing, and we'll get the breakdown.
I know Bump's pretty good, and he says Brian's the best golfer he knows.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask, what the hierarchy is of 7-10 of Seattle sports affiliated golfers.
Salk's golf with him, too, and says he's really good.
All right. Because you have Brady, you have Bump, you have Walters, you got Salk.
We'll throw Brock in there, too.
Brock. Does Brock golf?
I don't think he plays a whole lot.
No, come on. But you might as well throw Wyman in there because Wyman technically has golfed. So he'll golf once a year.
Okay, yeah, we'll remove Brock.
Okay,
I don't think he's playing enough to meet the threshold.
Yeah, all right. So when you get your questions in, you could ask something like that, but we'll do that at 9:45. Brady, right now, let's kind of talk about some things that have happened around the NFL. Last night was just kind of stunning, and I think it's more of a reminder that, yeah, you can't take any team for granted as we kind of look at these Seahawks games, and sometimes like, well, should they have won more convincingly? And the Falcons just showed last night, hey, you could beat anyone or you could lose to anyone. So from that perspective, how stunning is it that the Dave Canales-led Panthers are in first place in the NFC South right now?
Yeah, after Bryce Young's first season, I had some serious concerns about how he was going to pan out because, we've seen rookie quarterbacks struggle before and then turn it around. But what was different about Bryce Young is that he does not really look the part. And obviously, he had played his way into being the number one pick in the draft. But, man, it was really easy to see that his career just not panning out with how bad he was as a rookie. And then just the fact that he's just a smaller guy who was one of the least physically impressive quarterbacks you're going to see, just at least in terms of stature. But I think, maybe that speaks to kind of some of the other quarterbacks who have turned their careers around when they get the right system, the right coaching around them. Seen it with Sam Darnold. Seen it, for most of this year with Daniel Jones, other quarterbacks like that. So maybe that just speaks to the fact that he got, Dave Canales really helped turn his career around. So in that sense, Carolina's roster, it does not, they've got some good players, but, it does not really, I wouldn't say it's one of the 5 or 10 best rosters in the NFL, I don't think. And so maybe part of their success is the fact that they're playing in kind of a mediocre division, but you got to tip your cap to Dave Canales, who was getting, and Brad Idzik. Yeah, Brad Idzik, right? I'm getting Brad Idzik and John Idzik mixed up. John Idzik was the executive here. Brad Idzik was a coach in Seattle who was now coaching, who was now their offensive coordinator, I believe. With Dave Canales down there. So, yeah, they're doing a nice job.
Brady, I kind of went into a prologue there. I don't think I properly introduced the Around the NFL segment because now Maura has some stories that we're going to get to here in the Around the NFL. That was kind of the precursor, your introduction.
Have enough to get to. That's fine.
And now we'll kind of slide right back into the direction you want to take us, Maura.
All right.
See the music. I didn't let the music play. Yeah, just jumped right in.
First up, Joe Burrow has Bengals fans a little bit worried, and ESPN's Evan Cohen yesterday even speculating that he could end up retired early like Andrew Luck. Take a listen to his press conference yesterday and see what you think.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
How much fun are you having right now? Is it difficult to have fun given the season, what you've been through physically, emotionally, all of it? Is it tough?
Yes, certainly.
How much of it was fun before? Winning's always fun, but in general, was it as fun before you got hurt?
No, I wouldn't say I viewed it that way. I think.
What was the changing point?
I'm not sure there was a singular moment or of time. It's just a reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and it's certainly not easy on the brain or the body.
What's your concern level if you're the Bengals right now?
Well, it's concerning that it sounds like it's beyond the injuries because, the reporter asked him a question about, were you feeling this way? Basically he implied that it's not really the injuries that are causing him to feel this way. Now, he tore his ACL, I think, as a rookie. and then he missed 7 games in 2023, and then missed a bunch of time this season with whatever it was, the turf toe, whatever injury it was. So he has dealt with quite a few injuries, but it sounds like it's not really that. Now, there was that weird situation where it sounds like his home got broken into.
Yeah. And that was chronicled on Quarterback, which is kind of startling. Have you watched that?
I did not know. I didn't see it.
So he's on this previous season, the most recent one they did of Quarterback, and it happened during the season, so it was brought up, and they kind of sat down and talked to him about it. That does have to be pretty jarring.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine feeling very violated and not really feeling all that safe, but that doesn't seem like, not to minimize it, that doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would make you less enthusiastic about playing quarterback. A part of me, when I heard that, was wondering, is he trying to leverage ownership into getting them to do something, maybe having more say in personnel or something like that, getting something that he wants out of ownership? That crossed my mind, but he's under contract for a lot of money, so I can't imagine this has anything to do with his contract. But if you're a Bengals fan, you got to wonder about that. I mean, you want your quarterback to be the guy who's the most enthusiastic about his job, and it doesn't sound like he's got that right now.
It feels like to me that he has just been beaten down by playing for the Bengals. Just the wear and tear of all these seasons since his second year when he went to the Super Bowl. They've just kind of gotten progressively worse, and all the injuries. And we've heard that the Bengals are maybe not the best run organization. Certainly they don't score well in that NFLPA survey. It just seems like the totality of another long injury recovery. Yeah, like you're losing for the first time really in your pro career for a while. I don't know if he's going to retire, but he does seem like he has lost the joy that we saw a lot when things were going really well for Burrow, like in the national title season and then in his first few years in the NFL.
Look, he was 9-8 last season, so that it's not like they bottomed out. He went 5-5 in the 10 games that he started in 2023. So I can't imagine that this is like, it's not like there has been seasons upon seasons of just horrible, uncompetitive football. I mean, they've run into some adversity, no doubt, but they went to the Super Bowl his second season, went 12-4 the next year in 2022. So I don't think that this is just a case of consistent losing and lousy football wearing on him. But that said, I don't really know what it is if it's not that.
Well, panic has set in Philadelphia, guys. At least among the fans and the media. After Jalen Hurts' 4 interception performance against the Chargers Monday, his only multiple interception game all season. In fact, he only had 2 interceptions on the season before that game. There are questions as to whether he should be benched, and here is head coach Nick Sirianni fielding those.
Is Jalen definitely your starter Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a possibility later this season, if he continues to struggle, that you can make a change at the quarterback spot?
No, I think that's ridiculous. I think, Jalen Hurts, I know every time I go out in that field with Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, we have a chance to win the game.
It is wild that question was even asked.
And that's on his show, right?
That's on the radio show.
That's from his flagship station, WIP, where he does a weekly show. So for them to ask that, it's just it's a different breed.
I mean, that would be like us straight up asking Mike McDonald after Darnold's 4 interception game.
That's true. They're exactly the same. And I can't imagine that was going to be a question that was ever asked or considered. And Jalen Hurts is coming off a Super Bowl winning season. Not just a season, a Super Bowl winning season.
Right.
It's just crazy.
He won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
And he's and the coach is getting asked about the quarterback's job security the following year. So I think this is a market-specific conversation. I mean, this is the kind of question and the kind of conversation that takes place in the just the cauldron that is East Coast sports media. I mean, the other side of this is, do you even know who the Eagles' backup options are?
No.
Okay, Tanner McKee. If you haven't heard of him, that's probably a reason for that. And then Sam Howell is their number 3 quarterback.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's some questions just do not need to be asked. And that was probably one of them. Look, I get it. Hurts has not played well. The offense has not played well. It sounds like for much of the season, the criticism of Hurts has been that he's not aggressive enough, that he's been so focused on avoiding turnovers that he just plays a very conservative style of offense that has held them back. And then, he throws 4 interceptions. So I understand the conversation about what is going on with Philly's offense and how do you fix it. And the coordinator has come under fire. His house is getting egged, of all things. So I understand just the concern about the offense. But, I mean, really? Are you really asking if Jalen Hurts is going to get benched?
Crazy fans out there.
We got a text that says Salk asked it in the preseason. He asked if there was going to be a competition at all.
Yeah, a little different. Also not coming off, Sam Darnold also did not win the Super Bowl from Seattle.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, Sam Darnold's coming into a new situation here. So, yeah, it's a rightful question to ask then, even though it might not have been a competition. You ask it because he was coming into a new situation. But Jalen Hurts has been entrenched as the Eagles starter, and he's taken them to, 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 seasons?
Yeah.
1 this past Super Bowl. So, yeah, they're just crazy. They're literal crazed fans out there. And hosts, I guess. So as much as you want to get on us, I mean, I think we bring an air of sanity to the proceedings here.
Reason.
Logic.
We
elevate the mics that we are talking into.
Well, and it's funny how Sirianni, I mean, I think he said it's crazy, but, like, he didn't, like, he just sort of fielded the question like he knew it was coming,
Yeah.
Well, they've asked him about his own job security to his face,
Right,
too,
yeah.
so he's just used to it by
That's
now.
a different ball game over there.
Well, with the Eagles struggling, the Cowboys are just 1.5 games behind them. They have the Vikings this week, and the Eagles head to the Raiders, so they both have winnable games. But Dak Prescott was asked about rooting against his division rival.
No, I mean, I just got to go win every game. I mean, that's all I can control. I'm going to root against them regardless. So whether we're in this position or not. So I got to control what I can control and go win games on my end.
Doesn't need any extra motivation to root against the Eagles.
No. Dak Prescott's playing good football. He's the leader in total QBR, and you know how I feel about QBR and how telling of a stat that is.
Mora, you hear that? Dak Prescott's playing good football.
I don't disagree, but I did tell people yesterday that if they have him in fantasy, I'd think twice about it this week, just because the Vikings have not allowed, fantasy-wise, a quarterback to score over 9 points the last few weeks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold did get pulled in the fourth quarter of that game because it was a blowout. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Jordan Love, I think, had 6 fantasy points against him. Sam Darnold had 3. So I don't like that in a playoff scenario. Everybody's in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
No, so I'm not saying Dak's
you could
not
probably
good.
do better. Yeah, you could probably do better.
Unless you're in the consolation playoffs like I am.
Yeah.
So it's a sad state of affairs.
That's tough.
Yeah. No, we do this. There's a reason we do it. We do it to award the number 1 pick. So technically, you want to still be motivated to play for something. So it's not the worst team that gets the number 1 pick the next year. It's the team that wins the consolation playoffs gets the number 1 pick.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. In my fantasy league, we give with like $50 to whoever has the most points scored that week, which gives teams who are kind of out of it, gives them incentive to still set their lineups and all
$50 each week.
Yeah,
it's good buy-in then, huh?
Yeah, it's decent buy-in.
All right. Well, thank you, Mora, for Around the NFL. Once I realized that this was going to be Mora's segment, I got back.
Are we not going to get into the MVP conversation?
No, I mean, we got to get to more important things, Brady.
Okay.
I mean, it's 9:45. We've been promoting it all
You
show.
can let Brady say who he thinks the MVP is.
Okay, Brady, who's the
quick.
MVP?
Matt Stafford is
okay.
MVP.
Over Drake May?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, well, hopefully that changes after Thursday. But right now, there's Brady's take. Matt Stafford's the MVP. We have to get to right now. Answer the question, jerk.
This is Brock and Salk's Answer the Question, Jerk.
Keep asking questions. Come on, I'll answer them. Come on, I'm here. I'm going to answer your questions, dang it.
Answer my question! The question, jerk! Well, don't just stand there. Answer the question, jerk!
866-979-3776. Get your questions in for these final few minutes here. We see some trickling in right now, like this one from Matt in Oregon. Jerks, who's better at derailing a show, Brock or Lefko? I'll throw that to the control room there.
It's definitely Brock. Ask Lyle.
It doesn't take much for Brock to derail a whole segment.
I was
hour.
Yeah, I was listening to the show on my way to the airport Monday in Atlanta, and Brock's, I can't remember what it was, but he said something. It was talking about the Heisman vote, and he said something that, like, it almost sounded like you were, reaching for the dump button. Do you remember what it was?
No, I was not listening to this show.
Oh, yeah, he referenced his,
I was probably sleeping, Brady.
He referenced his, I don't want to say it again. He shouldn't have said it.
Oh, uh-oh. Oh, really? So it was that bad?
He said someone was going to have him by the...
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Okay.
Food that squirrels eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think we should. I don't think you should have said it then. So
Good catch there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was slow on the dump button. Huh?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? No. Just a bad phrasing there. All right. This is one that I've kind of gotten my brain in a little blender here when I saw this come across because I was thinking, wait, is there another way to do it? 425 says, do you put on a belt left to right or right to left? Or do you change it up?
No, you go with the non-loop end.
Yeah.
You go that in the like if you're looking down at your waist, you
All right, hold on.
You
Don't
go
look
left
here.
and then around, and then you bring it back on the right side.
Yeah, you start in the left, and then it loops all the way around to the right, and then you buckle it. Okay, I'm like actually doing the
All right,
physical
keep your
process
pants
of
on, please,
buckling my
Lefko.
belt. My pants stay on. It's just the belt is getting reworked. Yeah, I guess if you're you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
If you're left-handed, maybe it's the other way.
I don't think so. No.
Left-handed people, chime in. If you're left-handed, wouldn't you go the other way because it'd be natural? No,
I
the
don't.
belt only goes. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's never occurred to me that it would just feel backwards.
Yeah, just a simplistic question on the surface, but really a mind-bending, thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we both go left to right. I guess if there's another way, chime in. Wow. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I wear a lot of joggers, so I'm, belts sometimes don't really apply to me, but yeah, I can't imagine putting it on the other way.
Left-handed people don't wear belts. That's a good answer. That's one of the texts that came in.
Okay.
253 says, Jerks, who would you rather play in a Super Bowl rematch this year? Steelers, Broncos, or Patriots?
Well, I don't care who the outcome. I don't care who they play. The only lens I view this from is, what city I would want to go to. But if you're talking Super Bowl, it doesn't matter because it's all in the same city. So the options are the three teams that Seattle has played. So I guess the other way I would look at this is what would be the best storyline. Denver, I'm trying to think of just things that would be fun to write about. Denver, New England, or Pittsburgh. Well, I mean, Pittsburgh, you'd get DK, that whole thing. Although Seahawks have already played them, so that story has kind of been written. I don't know. I
like how you're prioritizing it from the storyline perspective.
Well, how else would I look at it?
Of like who they could have a better chance of winning against.
I think they have the best chance of beating
I don't root for them one way or another. So.
No, we're not rooting just for content. Like, think about the content you get if they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you'd get content either way.
And the Steelers, okay. Such a journalist answer over there. That's true.
The
The journalist hat is on. Yeah. I would say, yes, the better chance of winning in terms of this question, who you'd rather play, Steelers. The Steelers are not very
they'd
good.
have the best chance of winning, certainly, versus Steelers.
No, the text line has been broken over this belt question. So good job, whoever texted that one in. Some people are calling us idiots, saying, of course, left-handed people go the other way. And then some people say, no, I'm lefty, I go left to right.
What?
Other people said women go right to left. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if the pants are different. I know shirts are different.
No,
but-
I put my belt on.
Yeah.
Are you so unskilled with your offhand that you can't grab a belt with it and loop it around?
You just never would. That's the thing. So, yeah, you would never do that.
Okay, so I asked AI, and it says left-handed belts exist, especially for specialized gear like tool belts or sword belts,
Okay.
and even everyday leather belts.
Sword belts. Okay.
Wait, Brady, when you wear your sword belt in here on Monday, because you're in with
When you go LARPing.
Salk, yeah. Bring in your sword belt and then buckle it for the listeners.
This wouldn't apply to me. My, from many years of playing guitar, my left hand is actually stronger than my right hand. You know, I'm right-handed, but when you play right-handed guitar, your left hand is the one that's doing all the work. So I could actually, if I were to ever wear a sword belt, I probably would go on the right side.
There you
the
go.
left hand would be the sword hand.
That's a very revealing answer. I appreciate that insight. 425 says, Jerks, how was the Baja Blast pie? I'll take this one.
Oh, yeah.
That question was to me. I'm
Lefko
gonna
was all excited last time he was in
Yep.
to go early in the morning to Taco Bell and get a Baja Blast Mountain Dew pie.
A pie?
Yep. I gotta be honest. I feel ashamed of this. I'm gonna let a lot of people down. I did not eat the Baja Blast pie.
What? Did you get it?
No, I did not get it. I feel very sad. But here's the issue. They only sell it in full pie form. I want a slice. Because if by chance, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if by chance I hated it, because how could you though? It's pie and it's Baja Blast, the greatest Mountain Dew flavor. So I was going to like it. I did not want a full pie just sitting there. And they
Could've brought
only
it
sold
here.
it in full pie form. Well, I also thought about that too. And because it was that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I wouldn't have been able to bring it in until the next Monday, and then it would have been bad. And then I think they're done with it because it was a special promotion.
I'm picturing someone
Yeah.
showing up to Thanksgiving
Feel bad.
dinner with
Yes.
they were tasked to bring pie,
Bring
and
dessert,
instead of
yeah.
going with pecan or a pumpkin pie, they bring a
Let me look this
Taco
up.
Bell pie.
All right, maybe this is a challenge for after the show here. It's a limited edition.
Of course it
So,
is.
okay. Starting September 6th here for November 6th, starting for a limited time. So I think it's gone by now. I promise to do better. I promise to get that pie and to taste it. And you know what? If I have to bring it in or waste the rest of it, I will. Because when I do something food-wise, I hold myself to a high standard. So I'm sorry to let the people down. And I will go try that Baja Blast pie. Maura and I, good on the food reviews.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those award-winning food reviews we do?
No, I have not.
Oh, so usually it's just Maura filming me.
I mean, you did
and
get
I'm
some
talking
free
about
swag
food.
at one point, right? So
I did
you're
get,
an influencer.
theoretically,
Free
a
jelly
pretzel.
beans?
Oh, yes, that too. We got free jelly beans. Theoretically, a pretzel company, will not say their name here, offered to send us a bunch of pretzels after they saw one review. They never did. And then the reviews stopped. So I'm done. Done with all the reviews.
Those are expensive pretzels
That's probably why.
Was it Auntie Annie's? Like the ones
No,
you get at
no,
the
don't ask for the names. I'm not going to
It's
let
the
anyone
bag
down.
kind at the store.
425 asks, this is going to be a tough one. Really think about this. Using the on-air personalities from Seattle sports, which of Santa's reindeers do they best exemplify?
You mean reindeer?
No, reindeers, like which of the reindeer, all of them, do they best exemplify?
I don't know enough about the reindeer
What?
individually.
Yeah, maybe just do Brock and Salk.
I mean,
I had to look up the reindeer.
You got
You
okay.
had Dasher, but do you know what they
Dancer,
are
Prancer,
described as? Yeah.
Donner, Cupid.
So Brock is
something,
Prancer,
Blitzen. Okay.
like a lively
Prancer.
Prancer. The description of Prancer is a lively one.
Sure. Yeah, that's Brock.
Yeah. Donner, named for the Dutch for thunder, according to the first thing that happens when you search. I don't know. I don't think Salk really exemplifies any of these. He's not known for speed, Dasher. He's not lively. He's not, well, vixen, fiery and energetic.
Salk's a vixen.
Salk is a vixen. There we go. All right, Salk is a vixen. I'm going to sum it up right there.
That's one word that I think of when I think of Mike Salk.
Yeah.
It's vixen.
When you think Mike Salk, think vixen. Well, there we go. Back to the belt questions. Just getting so much attention. Here's a good one, Brady. 360. Would Blue Crush be a good name for this defense? Would you have a better name for this defense? I mean, all good defenses have a name.
But they don't have to have a name, right? Like, we don't have to force
Sure they do.
a stupid name. No, they don't.
All right.
It's got to come naturally. I mean, there's been, like, very few good nicknames for defenses over the years. Like, Purple People Eaters was a pretty good one. You don't force it.
Yeah. I agree with 425. I was thinking dwarfs. Salk is grumpy. Brock is dopey. Oh, we're not doing dwarfs, doing reindeer. All right. That'll do it for our show today. Big thanks to Brady Henderson for filling in. Bump and Stacy coming up next.
For Down Territory, Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
How will the offense get even better?
Once Torrey Horton gets back, this offense can be even better. Imagine him in this offense. That third receiver's kind of been missing. Granted, there's a lot of 2 receiver combinations out there that do play with a couple of tight ends at times. And that's what's exciting about this team on both sides of the football is that offense is great, defense is great, and you still haven't had these big performances from guys who are more than capable of doing it.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
The Puyallup Tribe of Indians and Salish Cancer Center sincerely thank everyone who helped make this year's Giving Hope Gala possible. Thanks to your incredible support, tickets for the December Gala event at the Emerald Queen Casino Event Center are close to selling out. You can make a difference by contributing to the Patient Financial Assistance Fund, which provides vital help to those battling cancer. For sponsorship opportunities, tickets, and ways to give, visit puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. Together, we are giving hope.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, if you're worn down, putting on weight, dealing with low T symptoms, or ED, something's off. Ignoring symptoms doesn't fix the real issue. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels. A $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. The key areas that reveal what's driving low T, ED, and more. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. This gives you a clear answer on what's off and the steps to improve it. Over 120,000 patients have trusted Revive since 2011 because the results are real. Claim your free full diagnostic panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Nugget Bells, Nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John. And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts, and of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your